Yeah, good evening. How y'all doing? As always, much appreciation, all American people. Tonight we're going to be discussing the American ethnocide, the active American ethnocide. Before we get into tonight's discussion, I'm gonna run these intros and we're gonna continue from there. Appreciate your time and your presence. Abanki Palami, Igbi, Atak, Intikba, Atak Shanspo, Maliki Okla, Okcha, Abahanta, Chatayakni, Anli, Yupali, Ishkifa Nishkin, Oglush Enla, Abenili, Chata Atak, Ishkafushi. Almighty Creator, ancestors, our American people, awake. This is divine, sacred Chata land. Be faithful, be exalted. Foreign nations, colonists. You are in the eye of the tomahawk.
Tomahawk! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way!
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right?
Tomahawk! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way!
All right, so next up, I'm gonna show y'all this clip, right? I put together this video earlier today. Some of y'all might be familiar with the dude, YouTuber dude by the name of Hassan Campbell, right? And y'all might be familiar with the dude, I think his name go by Gilly the Kid or something. He out of Philly and all of that. There was recent tragedy or what have you that took place with his oldest son or what have you. But I want y'all to hear what the dude Hassan Campbell says. Check this out. And I'm gonna show y'all the text that I presented previously that is also shown in this video here. Also, pay attention to the words of Malcolm X. Birth name Malcolm Little. Check it out.
How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way!
I would have changed the way I would have handled them was the fact that I didn't know Gilly and Wallow was my Muslim brothers. Our Muslim brothers. So that right there would have changed the way I would have handled the situation with my brothers. Because what the law says is a Muslim's life, family, and property is sacred to another Muslim, which means that Gilly, Wallow, and Young Cheese' life, family, and property is sacred to me. So I would have handled my brothers totally different.
The Muslims were attacked in Monroe, Louisiana. Elijah Muhammad gave no signal to anybody across the nation to come to the defense of their brothers. When our brothers were attacked in Los Angeles, again, Elijah Muhammad gave no signal to anybody to come to the defense of those brothers. Never have the Muslims anywhere in the country gotten any kind of instruction from the national office or headquarters on how to defend themselves when they are attacked by outsiders. The only times the Muslims have ever been given any instructions to commit violence is when that violence is directed against the fellow Muslim. When that violence is directed against the fellow Muslim. His followers are violent against Negroes. His followers are violent against Negroes.
Against Negroes?
Yes, his followers will go out and attack another Negro, like they will attack me, or they will brutalize a fellow Muslim who breaks the law. But you don't find those same followers going out and becoming involved in the Negro struggle in any way whatsoever.
The following extract is from Blacks of the Land. Open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and whom they please.
Tomahawks only. Black people, be honest with yourselves. We are the Aboriginal American people. Much appreciation, Hassan Campbell. We are more. You are motherfucking right. This is us. This is ours. We are the real natives of America. We ain't them slave ship niggas. We was here. Don't let them lie to you. Oh, you was the slave ship. No, we was here. Stop letting them lie.
Who we really are as a tribe. And this is why they're allowed to do anything and treat us anyway, because we don't have a spokesman to represent us in our natural form as a tribe, as the real true natives of America. We are the natives. We traveled the world before the slave ships, and because we can't identify ourselves other than with Jesse Jackson, he put that spell on us, and he knew what he was doing when he called us African Americans. There is no such thing as a African American. You ever seen an American Jamaican? No. Like, look at the mind games that they play. But nevertheless, this is why you will never win in the courts the way that you're supposed to, because you can't prove to the courts who you are. You dig?
One more! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way!
So, there was a lot said in those clips I've just shown, right? So I'm just going to go to pull up the text that was shown in one of the clips in that video I just played there. And so I'm just going to take it from the top, right? The first thing that you heard in the first part of the clip in that video is the dude Hassan Campbell addressing the dude Gilly the Kid, I believe his name is, out of Philly, right? In regards to his disrespectful words during the time of tragedy, in regards to the dude Gilly the Kid's son and all of that, right? So he says clearly, had he knew that Gilly and his peoples was Muslims, he would have not have disrespected them. He would have treated them differently. I want y'all to pay attention to that language there. He would have behaved differently towards them. He would have treated them differently. And so, reason why that is important, I want y'all to pay attention to this, right? And I would like your thoughts about it. Put it in the chat, right? What do y'all think about this? Where we have these people under foreign influence, people that are of foreign descendancy, right? They're foreigners, right? They're invaders, right? They are actively participating in the American ethnocide, the ethnocide that's active against our American nation's peoples, descendants, etc., primarily our youth. Every generation, our American youth from our American nations are being targeted, all right? That's the first part. Next part is, you saw the clip of, and you heard the words of Malcolm Little, better known as Malcolm X, right? Where he said that via Elijah Muhammad, other name Elijah Poole, right? This guy gave no orders for the defense or even retaliation of Muslims in regards to whatever abuses they was dealing with back in the 1960s era. No orders came down from Elijah Muhammad, aka birth name Elijah Poole, right? The leader of the Nation of Islam during that period, right? Yo, he didn't give no orders for the Nation of Islam people that was being abused and people that was able to assist and, engage in defensive, offensive, retaliatory actions and all of that against the people that was abusing them. He gave no orders. That's what Malcolm X said during his time, right? D, I see you, appreciate your presence, salute. That's the first thing he said. But then he continued to say how these Muslims, Nation of Islam Muslims, will attack other quote unquote Negroes. And so these are key words here. Reason why this is a key word, keep in mind, it was during the mid/the early 1920s, specifically 1924, where we had the eugenicist full-scale reclassification of American Indians being reclassified into Negro, colored, mulatto. I showed y'all this document the other day, right? Where even then in the 1600s, 1800s, these same reclassifications were taking place in regards to being able to enslave an Indian. Okay? That's what this whole document's about right here. defining Indians in colonial Virginia and the Carolinas. All right. This was going on across the country. This was legislation. All right. The reclassification was taking place early. Due to our natural complexion, foreigners want to call us white. Pardon, I said that backwards. They wanted to call us black/Negro. During this period, it was Negro, African, because those were the type of people. That was a classification in which you can hold someone as a slave, right? That's what this is all about right here. And so with the eugenicists, as of 1924 forward, they enhanced these former colonial policies. These were colonial legislative policies right here. I showed y'all that Negro Project information. When we look at the names of those Negroes that was hired by Planned Parenthood eugenicists during this 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s era forward, where we are right now, you see, when you really look at those Negroes, yo, they descendants of foreigners. Straight like that. I showed y'all in one of my presentations, matter of fact, in my documentary, how the dude, W.E.B. Du Bois, yo, he a whole Moor. Look at his name. Do the genealogy on that Du Bois name. See where that name come from. See where his people come from. See who he's associated to. And once again, I showed the letter in my documentary where he wrote a letter to somebody, right? Saying blatantly, this is in the 1950s now. He said for many years, I worked under Margaret Sanger. What kind of Negro is that? Obviously not an American Indian that was reclassified into a Negro. Nah, not one of them type Negroes. No, we're talking about the real Negroes. Remember, Moor and Negro is synonymous. Moor means Negro. Moor means black by default, by definition. That black shit come from over there. Don't come from here. They apply these terms on our people. That's ethnocide, a pure example of ethnocide on multiple levels. The reclassification, that's ethnocide. The CIA AMSAC information I showed y'all, that was ethnocide. This ongoing propaganda of black in regards to people with natural, whatever shades of brown. We got people of what they call light shades of brown, you know, mahogany colored people, butterscotch colored people, all the way to people what I call rich mahogany, rich chestnut, rich brown, if you will, complexions, and they're being classified as black. Meanwhile, yo, what's their true heritage? What's their true descendancy? What's their true bloodline? What's their ancestry? What nations do these people come from? You see what I'm saying? So now continuing, Malcolm X said what he said in that old 1960s interview, that these Muslims will attack Negroes and they will attack a Muslim, another fellow Muslim that has broken their Muslim law. Okay? So we think about this, right? I showed y'all text on the dude, Prince Hall of the Prince Hall African Lodge. He's the predecessor of this whole entire Pan-Africanism movement, or whatever they want to call it, right? The Prince Hall African Lodge, in the documents that I showed y'all, before there was anything called Pan-Africanism, it was called Ethiopianism. And once again, this is called the this is called the Prince Hall African Lodge, not the Prince Hall American Lodge. And then when you do the genealogy, you do the background on Prince Hall himself, you see that he was a slave child and his peoples was descendants of Moors, period. We're dealing with European, quote unquote, African exiles. Let me show y'all. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this is the book I showed y'all before, right? Jews and Muslims in British colonial America. This is a genealogical history right here, right? Elizabeth Hirschman and Donald Yates is the author, okay? Let's see what they're talking about in here. Remember, it says Jews and Muslims. That's the title of the book. It says it again right there. In British colonial America. So when these Pan-Africans and whoever, whatever breeds of foreigners want to talk about, oh, slaves from Africa, 1619. Yo, this book is dealing with 1619 genealogically. Okay, so D, excellent point. I heard this Moor say that we shouldn't call ourselves black. He says we are Moors. I'm like, isn't that the same thing? Yes. Like you said, D, that is the same thing. I got the etymology of it. Hold on. Let me locate that document real quick. Hold on. Let's type it in real quick. Intro. Yeah, it was first part intro. Here we go, right here. Let me show you. Right here. First page of this document here. Look. This is etymology from Etym Online. You know what I'm saying? I can pull up actual genealogical encyclopedias and dictionaries. I can do that as well. I have those texts, but something in which, you know, people can quickly reference for themselves. I'm just going to give you Etym Online, right? So check it. You see it, right? So at the top it says Negro, noun. It says 1550s, member of a black-skinned race of Africa, from Spanish or Portuguese, Negro, black. Let's go down to the bottom of this. Let me just go ahead and zoom in. Hey, here. Older English words, we're still dealing with Negro, right? Still dealing with that. Older English words were more and black or more. A Middle English word for Ethiopian. Remember, Prince Hall's African Lodge, they practiced what they called for themselves Ethiopianism, which is the predecessor, the grandfather, if you will, the father, if you will, for Pan-Africanism, which entailed, what is it called? They called it Orientalism, all that Eastern, what they want to call Eastern mysticism, and all types of foreign beliefs they had going on within their Prince Hall African Lodge. All right. Next up, we got Moor, also being a noun. All right. What does it say here? North African Berber. That's Africa. That's not American. Bottom line. If the Moors want to debate about it, take your debate to etymology. I don't got the time. I'm communicating to my American people for our clarity, because our youth need clarity. Our youth, every generation, before Malcolm Little, better known as Malcolm X's time, there was a lot of propaganda and confusion. And prior, there was confusion. We see it in these old legal texts where you have Indians being reclassified, and the Indian had to go to court and communicate to the court that they're Indian so they could be released from bondage, slavery, and all of that. That's right, D. You're absolutely right. Let's continue, right? Where we at? Where's that document at? Let's go back. Okay, so it says right here, from medieval Latin mortis, inhabitant of Mauritania, right? Roman Northwest Africa, region now corresponding to northern Algeria and Morocco. Morocco's not here. Morocco is not North America, nothing to do with the Americas, none of that. Got nothing to do with it. Continuing, right? It says, continuing, from Greek mortals, perhaps a native name, or else cognate with mortals in parentheses. You see that says blatantly black. Can I zoom in some more? Yeah, let's zoom in some more. Moor means black. The root of Moor is mortis, which means black. Continuing. Also apply to the Arabic conquerors of Spain, being a dark people in relation to Europeans. Their name in the Middle Ages was a synonym for Negro. So once again, a Moor and a Negro, all of that means black. Why is there so much confusion? Simply because they've invested in it. They've invested in the confusion. That's why. Continuing, it says, used indiscriminately of Muslims, Persians, Arabs, etc., but especially those in what they want to call India. Remember, that's Hindustan right there. Sister Soul, appreciate your presence. You see? But especially those in quote unquote India, which is really Hindustan, that's where Kamala Harris is from. So while we're on the subject of Kamala Harris and Hindustan and Moors and all of that, let's continue with what we're discussing about this. What do we call this again? Ethnocide, right? This is ethnocide. So I'm going to play the short, but I'm not going to play the 5-minute clip. I want to get back to this immediately. Let's run.
Florida's Board of Education this week approved a controversial new standard for teaching Black history in schools. Vice President Kamala Harris has called the guidelines insulting. CBS News' Manuel Bojorquez explains.
There were some boos from the audience when Florida's Board of Education approved new guidelines this week for teaching Black history in public schools. One for middle school students says instruction includes how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Vice President Kamala Harris made a last-minute trip to Jacksonville today, specifically to call out the changes.
They want to replace history with lies. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not have it.
But Florida's Education Commissioner has defended the guidelines.
What we should be striving to do is provide our students with all of this information and let them formulate their own opinions. That is what true learning is.
Governor and GOP presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis said he'd keep pushing back against what he considers leftist ideals in education if elected.
I would eliminate the federal Department of Education if we can. I don't think that the federal government was never envisioned to have really any role in K through 12.
Critics see it as an attempt to rewrite history.
I don't think that Black parents are going to stand for their children being taught that our ancestors benefited from enslavement.
Marvin Dunn is a retired FIU professor.
That's nothing short of just pure evil to do that, and especially when it's being done for political purposes.
Governor DeSantis slammed the vice president's visit to the state today, saying Democrats are lying about Florida's educational standards, while Democrats who view him as a potential rival are looking to tie him to controversies like this one. Catherine?
Manuel Bojorquez, thank you for your reporting.
So, we ran it back again. Appreciate all of your comments. Let's go ahead and run it back real quick. Yo, she's so fake. All of them are foreign. D, you're absolutely right. Sister Soul, what you say? The truth is the Slavs did develop skills like bathing, eating, and social status, learning industry off the back of our people, learning to be civil. Well, here they did. Yeah, they was forced to adapt to our standards here once they arrived here. Absolutely. Now, let me go ahead and jump back to this text over here, right? So, once again, Kamala Harris, she is of Hindu origins. They want to update the name to quote unquote India. But India means an American Indian female. Okay? It's like Indio, it means American Indian man. All right? This is an old etymology. They don't even have it in the books currently right now. This is why we have to update and formulate our own educational system. Obviously, we have to secure funding and budgets, etc., so that we can provide for our own. Because leaving it to these foreigners, I mean, what do they say? They call it Black history. That's more history. That's not American history being taught on our land. That's right, more land. There was no India. It was Hindustan. Absolutely. Absolutely, it was Hindustan. It was also known as Bharat. B-H-A-R-A-T. That's another term for it over there. Absolutely. So, yeah, there's no need for all the confusion that's present right now or any time in the future. It's just the fact that you have people that are being paid to push this confusion. Once again, it's documented absolutely clearly. More means Negro. More means Black. It's literally synonymous with it. And so when we have people talking about Black History Month, they talk about slavery, this, that, and the other. Yo, why are they doing that over here? They need to be doing that in Europe, because over here we had our own. Like the foreigners came over here, Moors was targeting us. They want to say the Cherokee owned slaves, blah, blah, blah. The fuck? Hold on. What Cherokees? Which ones exactly? Because from what I know to be true, yo, they was kidnapping our American Indian people. And while I'm speaking on that subject, let me show you the text that was in the first video that I played, right? So this book right here that I'm reading from, this is called Blacks of the Land, otherwise known as the Portuguese translation of it, rather. It's called Negro de Terra. That's the title of this book here. A Portuguese author, right? This is the English translation of this text right here, right? Got the whole book. Anyway, check it. It says, the Jesuits also use religious rhetoric in attempting to guarantee their exclusive access to the Indians of the interior. That means the Indians of the interior of the American continent. Because remember, they came from the coastline. They came from the shoreline, right? Beyond the shoreline, that's the interior, correct? It says, lamenting that the Satal that they call Patos is open. Listen, y'all, key words here. That means the land is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and to whom they please. It continues saying here, were it not for the Jesuits, they argued, the Indians would be left in the mouth of the devil and in the claws of the white. So what they're saying here, these are the words of the Jesuits here, right? They're saying that the Moor is the devil, the mouth of the devil. So when we think about the mouth of the devil, okay, so the mouth, that references either speaking or eating, correct? What does a mouth do? It speaks or eats, right? Then the flip of it, right? So for the black, the Moor, they're called the devil here. They're speaking and eating, right? In regards to Indians, okay? And then the flip is in the claws of the white. That means the hands of the whites. Yeah, that's a great allegory. That's a great analogy there, right? What do we see? Because this text right here is referencing, what's the year on this? For these quotes here, what's the dates? We're looking at around a period of 1637 here. We're looking around 1637, 17th century here. Yo, but everybody want to be focused on the quote-unquote African slaves in 1619, 1619 project and all of that. So let's go back to this book over here, right? This is Jews and Muslims in British colonial America, a genealogical history, right? Just take a look at the table of contents real quick. All right, let's zoom in. Come on. And look, y'all, so I ran a search for the word Moor in here in this book, M-O-O-R. There is 199 occurrences of that one word within this whole book. All right. So it says beginning right here in the table of contents, it says 1, map makers, those are cartographers, right? Privateers, those are mercenaries, pirates, etc., and promoters. What's a promoter? That's someone's promoting pretty much destruction against our people, colonization, ethnocide, etc., right? Continue with it says Sephardim, chapter 2 is Sephardim in the New World. 3, Virginia, a not so English colony, right? Chapter 4, Massachusetts, Pilgrims, Puritans, Jews, and Moors. Chapter 5, New York colony, Dutch, British, and Jewish. Chapter 6, Pennsylvania, Quakers and other friends. Chapter 7, Maryland, Catholic in her taste. Chapter 8, Huguenot, South Carolina. Chapter 9, Georgia, the last colony. Chapter 10, Beacon of Freemasonry. Elias Ashmole, John Skene, and early American lodges, right? Let's get into it. Let's see what they're talking about. Matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a search for 1619 because, that's what the Pan-Africans love, right? All the foreigners, they love to talk about these African slaves. Look, so in this book, they have 6 occurrences for 1619. Let's go to the first one. First one right here. Okay. It says here, let me zoom in so y'all can see all of this real clear. And once again, this is a genealogical history here, right? So it says, in May 1611, Sir Thomas Dale arrived in the Virginia colony with supplies, farm animals, and 300 settlers. 300 settlers. Empress Freedom Feather, how you doing? Sharon Walker, good evening, how you doing? Appreciate your presence. So they arrived. This Sir Thomas Dale in 1611 arrived in the Virginia colony with supplies, farm animals, and 300 settlers. During this time, Samuel Argyle, that's an Anglo-Norman Jewish name based on Greek Argos. In parentheses, they have treasure. The Reverend Alexander Whitaker and Ralph Haymore, that is Arabic name. And it says here blatantly, ass seller. Look at that. It says ass seller. So a Ralph Haymore, when you translate that to Arabic, because that's the etymology of the name, right? Haymore or whatever, that means an ass seller. I think the Moors will love that word, right? So it says, continuing, had also arrived. The continuing, it says in 1616, Abraham Piercy, okay? Piercy, in genealogy, it can also be translated to Perse or Persian, okay? So we got Jews arriving. That's what it's saying here. Jews arriving, Arabs arriving, Persians arriving, okay? Continuing. It says Cape Merchant took over management of the Virginia Company store in the colony, while in 1619, John Pori, perhaps from Porat, Moroccan for Joseph. That's a Moor name, right? It says it right there. It says it right there. So John Pori is a Moor. It's Moroccan for Joseph. That's a Moor. These are the people that arrived to Virginia in 1619, 1611, etc. And he was a secretary. Several of these surnames are Sephardic. That's Jewish, correct? Continuing. Epidemic still swept the colony. Some 300 persons died during the 1618 winter. Damn. So the foreigners came over here. The Moors, they came over here with the Jews and the Persians and the Arabs and whoever. They came over here and they was dying. They brought diseases with them. The ships were infected with diseases, just like how they brought COVID over here. Well, they brought these smallpox and etc. They brought all of that over here during those periods. It's documented in Old Text as well. So continuing, a critic back home charged, instead of a plantation, Virginia will shortly get the name of a slaughterhouse. New management was chosen. They chose new management. Hey, like, nah, hey man, you costing us too much. You got our colonists dying and our workers, our slaves dying. Those are the slaves. Those 300 settlers. That's code word for slave. Okay, what did they come over here to do? What? Just live? No, they was exiled. I'm about to do another presentation showing y'all the British Transportation Acts, because that pertains to British colonial America, of course, right? So continuing. New management was chosen. Sir Edwin Sands from Alexander became treasurer of the Virginia Company in 1618, and Sir George Yeardley became governor of Virginia in 1619. John and Nicholas Farrar Smith, Sephardic. Farrar is a Smith in the Sephardic language amongst the Sephardic peoples, the Jews, right? Became members of the Virginia Corporation the same year. So we got Virginia Company, aka the Virginia Corporation. That's interesting because today we still have a Virginia Corporation, correct? All right. By 1620, the Virginia colony had another new governor, Francis Wyatt, Arabic surname, Wayad. Wayad. So Wyatt is an Arabic surname for Wayad. They changed their names, of course, right? Who put a premium on obtaining female settlers. Now, that's a key point right there. Let me show y'all something, right? Those female settlers, those were female convicts, because we're talking about the British convict slave ship period here. That's what was going on, dealing with the British Transportation Act, where they was exiling all of their criminals, all their peasants, under the penalty of death. They had to either they die there or they come here. They get publicly executed there, or they come here and they work the rest of their life as slaves and colonists. Period. That's how this went here. And so those females, right? Well, those male slaves, because for many years it was nothing but males, and those male slaves, they had to buy female wives. That's why they're saying here, who put a premium on obtaining female settlers. Continuing, economic efforts included timber production. That means they was cutting down our trees, selling our wood, etc., etc. Same way they're doing today, right? Continuing, wineries and ironworks and glass manufacture. So these are the skills of the slaves that, they're talking about. The blacks, the black slaves was being taught skills where all of these is slaves here. And they came in all complexions, multiple nationalities, as we just read here. We got some Jews here, we got some Arabs here, we got some Persians here, various breeds of Sephardics here, and we got Moors here, right? And they was in all colors, pale skins to black skins, correct? That's what history reveals when we really get into history versus this revised American ethnocide history that's being force-fed upon our youth generation after generation. So continuing. It says all these industries were ones in which Sephardic Jews, Moriscos. So I told y'all what a Morisco is. Morisco is a Moor that converted to Christianity. Right? Y'all remember that? I'll show it to you again. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here for clarity. Morisco. They were forced to convert to Christianity. They was forced to convert to Christianity. Look, there it is right here. And they got pictures. It says a Moor in Spain, especially one who had accepted Christian baptism. They was forced to be baptized. They had to accept baptism under penalty of death. This dates back to the 15th century. The Moors that lived, from that 15th century period, they were cowards. They could have died with the rest of the people that was being slaughtered over there. Real talk. This is documented history that they don't want to tell our American people in regards to their origins. Let's see some of these pictures of these Moriscos. Let's see what these Moriscos look like. See what they look. And you see it ties into the caste system as well. Ties directly into the caste system. Directly into the caste system. I don't treat Wikipedia as a primary source. However, just for the sake of this, I just want y'all to see these pictures here. Open a new tab right there. Let's see what other pictures they got. Look at that. Habitat of a Morisco slave in 1568. These are Moors that were converted, forced to convert to Christianity, and they were slaves. So that's an old picture of some Moors, Moriscos specifically, right? Here's another picture. And so it's called the habit of a Morisco slave. You see the red hat in his head? A little head wrap? Yeah. That's them, right? That ain't us. All right. We ain't Moriscos. All right. Let's go back to the other book. Okay, Moriscos and Ottoman Turks excelled. All these industries were ones in which Sephardic Jews, Moriscos, and Ottoman Turks excelled. Sericulture, in particular, was a secret art jealously guarded and known only to them. What is sericulture? What is that? Let's look that up. Let's look up what sericulture is. It says the production of silk and the rearing of silkworms for this purpose. So these people was producing silk. This is one of their skilled trades. And it was held secretly, so it says here, right? It was a secret art, jealously guarded, and known only to them, right? The flight of Huguenots from Catholic France beginning about 1575 brought silk manufacturing to England, so that by the end of the 17th century, Huguenots numbered as high as 80,000 in London. Many of them were silk weavers or skilled craftsmen in the other textile arts in Shoreditch and Spitalfields, only 2 or 3 generations removed from being Spanish or Italian Jews. You hear that? I mean, damn. These are the people that was brought to our lands, to our territories. And we're not supposed to know their history. We're not supposed to know who was brought here. These are criminal exiles, and although it's saying that they were skilled, yo, they came here to do business on our land. They want to break bread with us. To this day, they don't want to break bread with us. They were actively invested in the annihilation, extermination, the extinction of our American nation's descendants, and all of that, right? Once again, targeting our youth, every generation, with all this black propaganda. Okay? It says here, the Constitution of the Virginia Company was rewritten in 1621, named now as proprietors were Sir Francis Wyatt, that's Wyatt, all right? That's Arabic, and he was a governor, okay? Captain Francis West, Sir George Yearley, he's a knight. Sir William Noose, he's a knight and marshal. Mr. George Sandys, he's a treasurer, so on and so forth. They're all foreigners. And they have these authority positions or what have you, but guess what? They're still subjects. They're not sovereign. Some of these positions, such as governor, etc., equivalent to being a trustee, right? And how many times do they breach fiduciary duty? They violated the treaties that we had with the British long time ago. I'm not going to get into all of that right now. Just continue. Oh, here we go. Now it gets interesting. Over the course of these arrivals, the surrounding Indian tribes have become increasingly disenchanted with the behavior of the colonists. Damn. Hold on, we talking about 1622. Damn, hold on. 400 years later, it's 2022. This 401 years later, ain't it? 2023. Are we still disenchanted with the behavior of the colonists? I know I am. They attacked the settlement in 1622, killing between 1/4 and 1/3 of those colonists, the inhabitants. Only a year later, Captain Henry Spielman, jester, actor. Look at that. Look at that. That's the name. That's his meaning. That's what his name means. A jester. You know, that's a clown, right? And also an actor, especially in Purim plays. And his company were killed, among others. Their captains were being killed by our ancestors. How come our youth are not being told these? Isn't that a good story to tell us? But at the same time, we can't see why the foreigners wouldn't want to tell us such things, right? Let me put the link in the chat. I'll definitely like y'all thoughts on this. So I got some other texts to show y'all as well. Brandon Rogers, appreciate you. How you doing? Oh, hold on, that's the wrong link. Give me 1 second. Let me get the link for y'all. There we go. There you go, right there. That's the link right there. Feel free to join, right? All right, where we at? Go back. Right there. So this clown and actor who was a captain and his company were killed, among others. In 1624, James I dissolved. And so that's King James. You know, we got people that claim to be descendant of King James and all of that. Well, in 1624, King James I dissolved the Virginia Company and declared Virginia a royal colony. By that time, settlements in Virginia had moved well beyond Jamestown. Elizabeth City, for example, had approximately 350 residents, slaves, aka slaves, and slave masters of these Moriscos, Arabs, Persians, and Jews, right? And whatever other breeds of Europeans that got exiled from Europe. This is what they don't want to tell our youth here. They don't want to tell us this. Let's continue, right? The glass factory was reestablished in 1624. Damn, they had a glass factory. Hey, shouldn't we be getting royalties on whatever glass? And they owe our people for doing business on our land, right? Is this another reason why they don't want to tell us any of this? Because, yo, we got claims. Like, hold on. Yo, you owe us just for being here. Breathing the land, your human waste on our land, your production on our land, the abuses and whatever else that y'all have done on our land. You owe us from then to now. This is why they put all this black nonsense out here, because with the black nonsense, guess what? We cannot even put forth a true reparations claim. These people want reparations for slavery. Hold on. Yo, we are owed royalties. Securities is involved in all of this here. These black fanatics have been preventing us intentionally, strategically, tactically from getting to what we need to be getting at in regards to what we are owed, what we are due. True or false? Shit is incredible. Individual persons were permitted to establish their own settlements, really, bringing in colonists of their own choosing. So slaves of their own choosing, right? For example, Samuel Argall was assigned 2,400 acres for recruiting 24 settlers. So that means right there, for the recruiting of 24 slaves, colonists, invaders, immigrants, they was each given 100 acres approximately, based on that math right there. That's crazy, ain't it? To settle in Virginia at that time, one needed only swear allegiance to the British monarch and be sponsored by one of the landowners. Come on, yo, one of the landowners. This is ignorant. Thus, persons from any country were eligible to immigrate. Yo, what we see going on right now? All these foreigners is eligible to come here. They opened up the floodgates. We got every breed of foreign. Yo, foreigners that go to war where they come from. They're over here right now. What they about to do here? Same thing they already been doing here. They've been going to war amongst themselves. And we get caught up in it, right? They involve us in their conflicts. Many became landholders after working off their indenture. That means a contract. Remember, a contract and a bond go together, right? That ties into bondage, right? I showed y'all that text during the Pennsylvania in the year 1750, where it's talking about these mothers and fathers from Europe. They had to sell. They had to bind out their children to pay off their passage debt. Once again, our youth is not being informed of this. The black fanatics don't want to speak about this. They just want to tell you, oh, you're not Indian, you're black, you're Abo, blah, 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 blah. Come on, man, get that shit out of here. This is how you smash them. It says usually in 7 years' time, they got to work off their contract. Usually. But see, if they caught a charge, though, either they was killed, they was maimed, you know, they was getting their arms cut off, legs cut off, ears cut off. All types of crazy things was going on for their offenses in regards to British colonial laws. Right? Continuing. One of the first of these outlying settlements was Berkeley Hundred, established in 1619. It included 35 colonists, aka slaves, right? Always keep in mind these foreigners are slaves. They serve their masters, who they had to pledge allegiance to, right? They're subjects. They're not sovereign. Sovereignty and vassalage as subjects or what have you, as bondsmen, bondswomen, whatever. Yo, that don't make you sovereign, does it? The definition just doesn't apply. The definitions don't go together. The two don't mean the same thing, right? Another group arrived in 1620 aboard the Supply. So there was a ship in 1620 called the Supply. Maybe some of these Pan-Africans' ancestors came on a Supply. That's something for them to look into, right? Since they want to look for ships and all of that shit. Since you want to say ships came from Africa and all of that. Maybe that's one of those ships that came from Europe, right? That's where they can trace their ancestors to right there. Aboard the Supply included Nicholas Hill, the ancestor of one of the authors, who was descended from the same Hill family in Bristol that married into the Drake family, as mentioned earlier. Others founding plantations and estates were Richard Pace, Nathaniel Causey, John Rafe, Isaac Madison, Samuel Maycock, Edward List. That's a Czech name. So, you got Czechoslovakia. So there's your terminology for Slav. So Edward List is a Slav, right? Richard Bisk, Grivel Pooley, also known as Pole, Isaac Chaplin, that turned into Chapman from Jacob, the patriarch, who was a traveling merchant. Edward Gorgany from Gorganas, Ashkenazi. So that's an Ashkenazi Jew right there. Nathaniel Powell, Thomas Harris, English Jewish, right? That Harris, Thomas Harris, that's an English Jew right there. Samuel Jordan and Mary Tu, she's a Tuhi, okay? Whoever them people is, but they foreign, of course, right? Again, we see the appearance of Jewish surnames. That's what it says right here. It's all foreigners. In 1619, the Virginia Company sent 150 people to set up 3 ironworks under the charge of Captain Blewett. Yo, once again, y'all, this book right here, incredible. Let's go. Let's see where the next reference to the Moors are, though. Let's see. That's the preface. Virtually abandoned, consequence of purification of its population of Jews and Moors. Look at that. As a consequence of the purification of its population of Jews and Moors. Let's go back to the previous page here. Look. This is key text right here. It says one historian of Inquisitional Spain. That's a reference to the Inquisition. All right. And biographer of Christopher Columbus, right? Simon Wiesenthal notes that throughout the 16th century, the movement of the Marranos, that's another term for Moor. Pardon me, that's a term for Hebrew that's converted to Christian. Let me show you that too. So we have the Morisco that's converted to Christian. They was forced to convert during the period of the Inquisition, right? Marrano. What is a Marrano? Let me just move the S on that real quick. Here we go. Look. It says right here, in medieval Spain, a Christianized Jew or Moor, especially one who merely professed conversion in order to avoid persecution. So when you hear these foreigners talking about, oh yeah, we came to America to escape persecution. No, it came with them. They were sent here. They agreed to convert, to serve as slaves for these colonial nations such as Spain, the Vatican, Portugal, Britain, France, Germany, the Dutch, etc. That's what we're reading here. So that right there, that could be a Marrano, can either be a Jew or a Moor. But generally speaking, it's always associated to Hebrews, which is a Jew, correct? Continuing. Throughout the 16th century, the movement of the Marranos, Hebrews, to the New World had continued. And that after the expulsion of the Jews, the Hebrews, and flight of the Marrano elements, it was the turn of the Moriscos to serve as scapegoats for the ills of society. So the Moors that converted to Christianity, they had to serve as scapegoats for the ill. So they got blamed for everything. Doesn't that sound common today? We see the foreign media on our lands, right? And they are broadcasting, quote unquote, black on black crime. Barely see any of the foreign crime, right? They don't advertise that. They don't broadcast a whole lot of that. No. Continuing. The same writer estimates that, all told, Spain lost 1.5 million people. That's 1.5 million people as a consequence of the purification of its population of Jews and Moors. Many occupations were virtually abandoned, he writes. Trade, the crafts, and the sciences languished. Because they had them serving as slaves over there. That's why it languished. They got rid of them. They was like, yo, we can do without that shit. We don't need y'all skills over here. We don't want y'all here. So once again, y'all, this is a powerful book right here. I got a whole bunch of these. And once again, y'all, this is in my Tomahawk curriculum. Let me show y'all. What is that? This is my Tomahawk curriculum here. To anyone interested, yo, feel free to send a message, and I got you. We can chop it up. All right. Oh, look. So it says, just as the irrigation canals dug by the Moors in Andalusia were allowed to silt up, they had the Moors over there digging canals, man. How come these Moors don't even know their own history? But they want to come over here trying to say that we're all Moors. What's your nationality? First thing they want to say to you, every time they want to argue with you, what's your nationality? You don't have a nationality. Black means dead in law. Snigger. More means dead in law, motherfucker. What you mean? Like, yo, man, go dig a fucking canal where the fuck you got exiled from. Take your ass back to where you came from, man. We don't need you here. It's that simple. We don't need them here. Especially when we read this text over here. I read it to y'all earlier, right? It says blatantly here. It says blatantly that the land is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and to whom they please. Yo, it's still happening right now. It's still happening right now. Don't get it twisted. All this gang violence and shit going on. Yo, our youth are getting attacked. Their minds and their bodies are being conquered. They're being captured. And they're being sold wherever. Every prison, every funeral home, burial ground, etc. Come on. Oh, shit. Next to that, go to school, get an education. You know, the same education that's, what that document at? Yeah, here it is right here. Same education that's funded by the CIA. Got our mothers and fathers invested in this education that's funded by the CIA, whereas these students, these youth of ours, being pushed to these schools where they're being fully indoctrinated. Fully indoctrinated. They're not receiving these texts that I'm showing y'all tonight or in any of my presentations and discussions. They're not receiving none of this, but meanwhile, these texts are within these universities, though. And guess who's reading them? The foreigners. Guess who's publishing? The foreigners. And this shit is reality. Withheld from our youth because they want our youth to be demoralized while the foreign youth, they feel great about themselves. Their confidence is high because they don't even know their own goddamn origins. Tell me I'm lying. Prove me wrong. Straight like that. Prove me wrong. And within proving me wrong, prove these authors, prove this research wrong. Prove this to be erroneous. Prove this to be revisionist history. Because what's going on within these school board systems, whatever they want to call these service clown monkey locations, whatever you want to call these things, right? Yo, they've been revising the history and now they're updating the revision. And we got foreigners debating about how much or how should it be revised. We just want to keep black in it, though. We want to make sure that this is about black people, you know, the Moors, Morisco, Maranos, etc. We want to emphasize them in regards to the slaves and how they had skills, but we're going to blanket this covering up the Indians who these black skins was brought to. Let me show you another text real quick, right? Yeah, I don't want to keep y'all occupied this evening. I'll show y'all something, right? Check this out. So this text is from during the Pennsylvania in the year 1750, right? This is a page extract here. Let me go and do this big as well. I meant to do this big earlier. Also, the link is in the chat for anybody like to join. Look forward to your comments. Feel free to participate in this discussion, presentation, and all of that, right? So it says in Pennsylvania and the other English colonies, there are innumerable Negroes or blacks who have to serve all their lives as slaves. Okay, so once again, y'all, we're talking about the Moors and the Hebrews from Europe. not Africa. They came from Europe, right? Simultaneously, because once again, we're talking about the 1750s, keep in mind also what we have over here, where in the 1700s, these foreigners was applying falsely, erroneously, black, Negro, mulatto, etc., onto our American Indian nation descent people. And they had to go to court. Prove by simply communicating that they was Indian, right? Either by affidavit or with the witness that my mother's an Indian. All my peoples is Indians. I ain't Negro. I'm not mulatto. I ain't none of that. You can't hold me. And right here, it says they let them go. Look at this. Yo, in regards to taxes, right? Check this one out. This is July 1739. On the petition of Indian Jamie, alias James Musty, right, is exempted from paying county levies. That means county taxes, right? What's a levy? Let's look up levy, y'all. Levy. Definition. What is that? Impose a tax, fee, or fine. Tax. That's what a levy is, right? So once again, these Indians were being falsely classified as Negro so that they could be held as slaves by these foreigners, these invaders, these immigrants, as we've been reading about, right? Continuing. But the real Moors, Morisco Moranos, that converted to Christianity, once again, by converting to Christianity, what does it say? Serve God, right? Who's God? That's the Vatican, right? That's God. It says it blatantly in King Ferdinand's letter to the Taino Arawak Indians. It says it blatantly right there in the first paragraph, right? Continuing. It says from 200 to 350 florins are paid for a strong and industrious half-grown Negro. Many are given in marriage by their masters in order to raise young blackamoors by them. This is the language of this text here. And it's talking about the real Negro. In order to raise young blackamoors by them. They're yo, it just said right here, these are arranged marriages by their masters. In order to raise young blackamoors by them who are sold in their turn. These blacks are likewise married in the English fashion. God damn. What do y'all think about this text here? What do y'all think? Huh? What do y'all think? Yes, this is so innumerable. Yo, because what do we just read though? Hold on, Sister Soul, what do we read there though? Where's that text at? Hold on, it's over here. Yeah, it's right here. Let me go back. Innumerable Negroes, right? It said Spain lost one in that. It said Spain lost 1.5 million people as a consequence of the purification of its population of Jews and Moors, meaning Hebrews and Moors, the Moriscos and Moranos that were exiled here. See how we put all of this together? Those are blackamoors. And now we reading about how they was being bred over here too. So we think about like, yeah, hold on, like, yo, y'all motherfuckers sent 1.5 million Moors and Hebrews over here? What? That's incredible. And that's just from Spain. Hey, Dave, let me show you this text again one more time. Let's run it back again. The land is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians, to later sell them where to whom they please. So when we hear these people say some shit like, what did they say? The black slaves were skilled that they could use in their lives, right? Well, those skills included attacking, conquering, and capturing Indians to later sell them. Because it's documented that these Moors and Moriscos, they were slave owners here. They were slave owners where they came from. It's within their holy text. If you are an infidel, yo, we heard what the dude Hassan Campbell said. Hassan Campbell, he blatantly said, oh, had I knew that you was a Muslim brother, I would have treated you like that. Because you're my brother in the name of Allah. And your family is sacred. Your property is sacred. You are sacred as my... That's what Hassan Campbell said. He's Islamic. That's right. What y'all said, convert or die. Convert or off with your heads. That's right. And then also with that conversion, you have to serve. I've said this years ago. I'm like, yo, y'all Moors are vassals. It's documented. King Ferdinand letter, it says, yo, Christians, Moors, Jews, Gentiles, or those of any other sect, they are under St. Peter, God of the universe. I'm paraphrasing that text, by the way, but feel free to pull up King Ferdinand's letter for yourself. I can pull it up right now too, but I just want to proceed with this right here. This is a lot to digest right here. But once again, this is dealing with our American ethnocide. All of this is being withheld from us. Generation after generation, our youth is not being taught none of this. But meanwhile, we have to deal with it every generation. Every generation, we have to deal with those that have come here to serve their masters, that are skilled with attacking, conquering, and capturing. First, they did it amongst themselves. Now they're here doing it against us. First, they were selling their own people amongst themselves, but now they're here doing it to us. Am I lying? Can you prove me wrong? Got our youth wanting a record deal and shit, right? Got our youth wanting to be goddamn athletes being sold and traded team to team and all of that, right? Signing contracts with foreigners from foreign nations, and meanwhile, they getting a fraction of their value. Unable to provide for our nations as a result of this treasonous behavior, which they wasn't even made aware of. Ain't that some shit? I mean, seriously, ain't that some shit? Foreigners leave their countries of origin, come here, get rich, send their resources, or pardon me, send our resources, send our wealth back to where they come from, and they stunning their own people. They invest in atrocities and massacres using our resources in the lands in which they come from. This is historical fact, right? All right, continuing. So, says here, confirmed all the former liberties with his signature. This is a reference to William Penn, who Pennsylvania is named after, right? And he made many presents to the Indians or savages, right? They ain't got nothing to do with no more Morisco, Marano, Hebrew, none of them, right? That Indian or that savage, nah, ain't got nothing to do with them. They talking about us, right? Continue saying, no trade or profession in Pennsylvania is bound by guilds. Everyone may carry on whatever business he will or can. And if anyone could or would carry on 10 trades, no one would have a right to prevent him. Damn, they doing good business over here, ain't they? And if, for instance, a lad as an apprentice or through his own unaided exertions learns his art or trade in 6 months, he can pass for a master. Damn. In 6 months, you could be a master in that trade. Yeah. And may marry whenever he chooses. It is a surprising fact that young people who were born in this new land are very clever, docile, and skillful. You know what docile mean, right? Let me show y'all what docile mean. Because in that book I showed y'all last week regarding what's it called? Former President James Buchanan's the customs and manners of the North American Indians and all of that. It said that African is docile and submissive. Remember that Moor is the African, right? But then he continues saying the Indian, on the other hand, is not. So look what it says right here. Docile, ready to accept control or instruction, submissive. What we see with these niggas today? What we seen with these niggas from past goddamn generations within our territories and communities? Ain't them niggas goddamn ready to accept control? Like That means ready to be controlled or instructed. These niggas are submissive. You know, submissive is one of those S, you know, before I put S on nigga, submissive goes before the nigga. I got a whole list of S words. Yo, let me stop. Let me see it. Where we at with it? Let me see it. Yeah, here we are. Docile and skillful. Yo, we just read these Moors and these Jews, these, you know, these Morisco Moranos that were forced to convert to Christianity, right? Because their predecessors were slaughtered. They was even killing babies during the period of the Inquisition. The Moors don't even know their own history. Tomahawk Tony does. I can tell them their history. And I ask him more, are you sure you're Moor? Are you sure? Do you have genealogical evidence proving that you do you have that? I'm just curious, Moor. Because I ain't no fucking Moor. Don't call me that shit, nigga. Continuing. For many a one looks at a work of skill or art only a few times and imitates it immediately. That's why we got a lot of bad service out here, because motherfuckers think they can do every goddamn thing because they see somebody else doing that. They want to fucking do the shit. And they fuck it up in the process, right? While in Germany, many a one has to learn for years to do the same thing perfectly. Damn, that's missing. But here, many a one is able to produce the most artful things in a short time. Okay, if you say so. When the young folks have gone to school for 6 months, they are generally able to read anything. Wow, that's very telling, ain't it? Because when we see as Indians, right? Did you see that your ancestors was able to read and write English during the periods of the 1700s and all of that? Did you see any of that? You had to be a special Indian to be engaged in these foreign activities. You had to. Not every Indian went to those Indian colonial colleges where they were being converted to Christianity and all of that. Not everybody was a praying Indian or a Christian Indian. You know, the Indian being, once again, converted to Christianity, but in a less crazy way, like the Moriscos and Moors was forced to convert. Like they came over here, they invited us. They was inviting our people to these schools throughout the East Coast territories, right? Harvard, Yale, William Mary, Roger Williams, etc. Those were Indian colonial colleges, a whole series of them. Then that transitioned later into the HBCUs. And what do we see over here? Once again, y'all. See the funding. Those HEIs, Harvard, Yale, William and Mary, etc. Heavily funded schools. Heavily. Those are the higher education institutions. The HBCUs come later. They get a fraction. The HEIs, as you see there, they got 10 billion. Meanwhile, the HBCUs, shit, they was getting a little more than $500 million. In 1981, then in 1985, now they getting nearly $630 million. But once again, our youth are not being informed of this, are they? Nor their mothers and fathers, right? Continuing. This is what I wanted to read to y'all, because I really need our American people to understand the value of our land from the perspective of a foreigner. It says the land of Pennsylvania is a healthy land. It has, for the most part, good soil, good air, and water. Many high mountains, and also much flat land. It is very rich in wood, where it is not inhabited, a pure forest, in which many small and large waters flow. The land is also very fertile, and all sorts of grain grow well. It is quite populous, meaning abundance of life, right? I wanted to share that to y'all. That means our land's beautiful. You see it continuing. As one can live without such houses, still more they wander at the garments of the Europeans and their costly finery. They will even spit out when they see it. That's talking about the Indians, our people. We was disgusted by all that pretty shit, the finery of the Europeans. Let's continue reading about this though, right? When a savage couple are betrothed, the man gives his affianced bride a piece of a deer's leg into her hand, whereby he gives to understand that he will nourish his future wife with meat. That means that he's going to provide. That's what that means, right? His affianced, on the other hand, gives him an ear of corn in token that she will provide her future husband and children with bread. That means that they're going to provide for each other. Thus, they care for each other and remain together until death parts them. That's what the foreigners perceive, right? Till death parts them. Oh, that's not within our natural beliefs, is it? No, we don't believe in that. We don't believe in death parting us. Continuing, old savages have often been questioned about their descent and origin. This is good. I want y'all to listen to this. Old savages, old Indians, old Americans, the real Americans, us, have often been questioned about their descent and origin, and they have answered that all they knew or could say was this, that their great-grandparents had lived in these same wildernesses, and that it was not right for that the Europeans came and took their lands away from them. For this reason, they must move farther and farther back in the wilderness to find game for their food. It wasn't right for our lands to be colonized, invaded by criminal immigrants or any form of immigrant. It's not right, period. It's not right, right? The weapon which these savages shoot is a round bow, in the front center of which they place a sharp and pointed stone of a finger's length. In the rear, it is rather more than an inch wide, and on both sides as sharp as a knife. They aim accurately with it. And when they have wounded a deer, which will not fall, they run after the deer, and they run as fast as the deer, meaning our people was very healthy. Of course, anyway. Continue reading a little bit more of this text. Let me see here. Yeah, because I selected very specific pages out of this book because, once again, this is being presented in regards to the ethnocide. We don't hear stories about our people. This is being withheld from these school districts and these school boards and all these foreign, quote unquote, educators, teachers, whatever they want to call themselves, right? They don't have none of this in their curriculum. We're gonna have to compel them. We're gonna have to demand. We're gonna have to order. We're gonna have to command them to place these real texts into those curriculums. We always have that opportunity. These are things in which we can do. People ask for solutions. That's a solution. Tell our youth the truth. The truth is available. One moment. Here we go. All right. Let's get back into this real quick. So this one here, okay, yeah, already read this one earlier. Oh yeah, here we go. This one's interesting. Check this out, right? According to their color, the inhabitants of Pennsylvania may be divided into 4 classes. There are 1, whites, Europeans who have immigrated, and natives begotten by European fathers and mothers. You see that right there? Native, because they was born here. Immigrants being born here are considered a native. See that shit? Look, it says 2 Negroes, blacks, brought over as slaves from Africa. Now, it's key here, as I've shown in this previous text, right? Right here. Jews and Muslims in British colonial America. Those are your Negroes. Those are your Africans, quote unquote, brought over from Africa. Pretty much brought from nowhere because they was exiled from Europe. Nowhere in Africa, but in all truth and reality, exiled from Europe. That's what it's saying there, right? Continuing. 3, mulattoes or mulattoes, parentheses, mulattoes, such as are begotten by a quote unquote white father and a quote unquote black mother, or by a quote unquote black father and a quote unquote white mother. These are neither white nor black, but yellowish. So I want you to pay attention to that, right? So I've referenced to y'all, and I've shown previously the book by J.A. Rogers, Sex and Race, right? Also showed y'all Las Castas, meaning the caste system, right? Where for the Spanish and Portuguese, they got very definitive with the mixing of their foreigners, right? Continuing. The point I want to make here, I want to draw y'all back to this over here, where it's saying that Indians were being classified as mulatto. Look, I'll show you right here. This is 1740. This is the same period as the book that we're reading from right now, Journey to Pennsylvania in the year 1750. But this is 1740. We also have some 1750 plus references here. It says, petition of Thomas Bow. It is ordered that the church wardens of Dale Parish do bind out Joe, a mulatto, the son of Non, an Indian woman, according to law. Say what? Petition of Thomas Bow. It is ordered that the church wardens of Dale Parish do bind out. That means bond out to sell as a slave Joe, a mulatto, the son of Non, an Indian woman, according to law. Mulatto is used here to describe an Indian half-blood. But the facts of the matter is, his mother's an Indian. In law, the child inherits the status of the mother. That's according to foreign law. And in regards to our American nations, it's pretty much the same thing. Yo, if your mother's an Indian, you're Indian. But at the same time, though, it was forbidden within our nations to mix with foreigners. But once again, they wanted to call our people all these different things. So in their books, keeping it good for their books, they wanted to compromise the integrity of our bloodlines, even though physically we didn't do it. But within their literature, you know, their court records and all that type shit, within their journals and things of this nature, they want to call the Indian a Negro and all of this type of stuff. Sharon Walker, what do you say here? Teachers / indoctrinators teach directly from books that have been adopted by the school systems. The curriculum lines up with the line books. Absolutely. Revisionist history, indoctrination, as you said, all of that. Ethnocide. That's ethnocide. In a nutshell, that's ethnocide. Perfect example of ethnocide, right? Let's continue with this text here. So we see here, this is 1747, will of Richard Randolph, to my son John, the third part of my slaves, he taking my 2 Negroes, Indian John and Essex, as part of his third, which 2 Negroes I propose he should have. An Indian is described here as a Negro. The term is influenced by his servitude. Once again, these foreigners came over here. They was kidnapping our people, attacking our people, and sell our people to whom they please. Still happening to this day, right? I'll show you another mulatto in this text. Let me pull up another one because we're on the subject of mulatto. Okay, here we go right here. So this is Stafford County, Virginia. This is Will Book of the years 1729 through 1748. So 1729 through 1748. These are actual books that you can find. These are actual will books, okay? Within these counties, by the way. This is the will of George Crosby. I bequeath unto George Crosby Jr., the son of my son George, 1 Indian mulatto woman. God damn, Pete, what? 1 Indian mulatto woman. And so once again, the author over here, this is a German, by the way. Where are we at? Where is that text at? Hold up. Where's that text? There it is right there. So, quote unquote, white father and a black mother can produce a mulatto, according to the English, right? And once again, they call in any Indian black or mulatto, whatever they want, just by looking at us. These are assumptions they're making, right? Or a quote-unquote black father and a white mother, they would call that the offspring a mulatto. So if you just had the appearance of a mulatto, which means a yellowish color, right? If you just had the appearance, yellowish, if you will, based on their descriptions, right? That would make you a mulatto. No regard for your heritage. So continuing here, Frank and her increase as also one Indian mulatto boy, Juno Cooper. Use of the term mulatto here to describe an Indian half-blood. Okay? So I don't want to be, facetious here, redundant, anything like that. But, this is just further evidence and emphasis on the fact the foreigners had no regard for our natural bloodlines, our natural relations, nor our nations, etc. They wanted to hold us as slaves, and so as a result, they reclassified us. Once again, the Pan-Africans, the Moors, none of these foreigners, they don't want to have this conversation. But this is truth, though. This is pure truth. I'm gonna read this last one here. It says, inventory of estate of Francis Maybury, 2 Indian slaves and 1 Indian mulatto. Girl first described as a mulatto, later described as an Indian mulatto. They was confused. They said what they wanted to do what they wanted. Same thing they do right now, correct? Let's continue. Now, number 4 on his list, right? Same list. According to their color, the inhabitants of Pennsylvania may be divided into 4 classes. So this is the 4th class here. Dark brown. Number 4 is dark brown. These are the savages or Indians, the old inhabitants of the country. Damn. Yo. So you mean to tell me every year we got this Black history situation and they don't want to mention none of that? Because I could have sworn we got a lot of quote-unquote Black people that are naturally brown. And some of these shades of brown are rich. I don't call it dark. I call it rich. Your complexion is rich. For those that are considered quote-unquote light, we got people that call them bright complexioned. Those that would be called mulattoes, but they're not. These are all full-blood Indians. Descendants of real American nations that none of these foreigners want to acknowledge. None of them want to tell us, especially our youth, this primary and vital truth that pertains to us and us alone. They withhold this from us intentionally. Yo, this is Pennsylvania we talking about. And the same thing in Pennsylvania was throughout the entire Eastern territories in North America. Going into the South, the Midwest, Upper Midwest, Lower Midwest, across the Mississippi, going into Colorado, Montana, this quote-unquote Wisconsin territory, Oregon, Utah, going into California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, etc., Oklahoma, etc., right? This all us. Central America, South America, the Caribbean, this all us. But they want to call motherfuckers Black. Then we got the Moors want to call everybody Moors. We got the Hebrews want to call everybody Hebrews. On our land, right? You got the pale skins want to call everybody Black. The Asians want to call us Black. The Ladino / Hispano-Arab that wants to call themselves Hispanics and Latinos and Latinx, Spanish descent or whatever, right? They want to call us Muranos. That means Hebrew, right? They want to call you Morisco, Miate, and all of these type terms, right? Star Strike, appreciate your presence. Yeah, Capitone, appreciate your presence as well, right? It's on us. to identify ourselves, right? It's on us to speak for ourselves, to know how to speak for ourselves, to command our truth, to demand our truth be told on our land, to claim not only ourselves, but to claim our land, to claim our people. This is what's been missing for all of these years. Now, I'm speaking in regards to recent years, because in the early 1900s, before this goddamn foreign media shit kicked in, we had many of our American people holding it down. Our ancestors, our elders, they was holding it down back then. Throughout the 1800s, we see the court cases out the 1700s. They was representing in the courts for their people, our people they was representing. Dark Gabe, the Amaru Khan, my dad is just like his mom. Rich Brown, Dark Brown, as you say here. Full Bloods, as she taught me, she is indigenous Choctaw, that's right. To Eunice, Louisiana, born 1906, she spoke 3 languages, English, Creole, and her indigenous tongue, Muskogee. Salute to you. Salute to you and yours, my guy. That's right. And it is a priority that you preserve your people's truth. And you invest in that preservation of your people's truth. And work with others within your territory and the preservation of your relative truth. Same way the foreigners invested themselves. All these black fanatics, they invested themselves. All these Moors, they invested themselves. The Hebrews invested themselves. All of that. That's right, Halido. Appreciate your presence. All right, okay, look. All right, so yeah. I told you I didn't want to read any more of this one, but I enjoy this, right? I enjoy this because this is the same work that we got to do today. Look, check it. 1745. It's saying here from 1741 to 1745, Robin, a quote unquote Negro man, now in possession of Thomas Cock, petitioning for leave to sue for his freedom. Robin, an Indian. He's an Indian against Thomas Cock in trespass, assault, and false imprisonment. We found that James Jones, late of Prince George County, right? Virginia, then it became Maryland and all of that, right? In the year of our quote-unquote Lord, 1693, was in the possession of an Indian girl named Sarah as a slave. See how they did it? See how it blatantly says this right here? Was in the possession of an Indian girl named Sarah as a slave. You see this? Let me just run that back real quick. I'm going to run back that text I read earlier. The interior of our lands was open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and to whom they please. Right? And here it is in 1693. This James Jones was in the possession of an Indian girl named Sarah as a slave. And that we did find that the said girl in the year aforesaid was 4 years old. It is shit. 4 years old. We found that the parents and native country of the said girl were heathens and idolaters. You see this shit? Ain't that the same language of the Hebrews and Moors as well as the Christians? They want to call us heathens and idolaters. They want to call us, our people, heathens and idolaters because we're not them. We don't believe in the shit they believe in. And meanwhile, goddamn, y'all motherfuckers is whole exiles. Y'all don't even belong here. And then you have the audacity to come here and call us a fucking heathen and idolater. And then believe within your foreign corrupt belief system as a slave, mind you, that you can abuse us, have your way with us, including our daughters and sons, as we see right here, 4 years old. We found that the aforesaid girl did live and die in the service of aforesaid James Jones as a slave. Yeah. These people ought to be remembered and honored. We got people that's related to these people out here. Descendants. We got to maintain these bloodlines. And yo, for these black fanatics out there that's pushing this reparations bullshit, your black reparations, man, get your shit from Europe, because we got to get our shit from these motherfuckers right here. They want to sue they want the United States to pay reparations. Check this. This is before the motherfucking United States was established, motherfucker. This was before the establishment of the United States. So who's responsible? Who will you seek reparations from in regards to this Indian girl by the name of Sarah who died a slave when it was forbidden during this period to hold an Indian as a slave? Huh? These are the discussions that we're being withheld from. Okay, let me show y'all a video. Let me show y'all. Because this guy, I showed y'all this video previously, right? Yeah, Dark Gay, before I show this video, let me read your text real quick. Let me read your comment real quick. What do you say here? These Hebrews, Moors, been working with thine enemies from the jump and trying to finesse our people out our ancestral homelands. That's right. Yo, that's right. The UK, France, Spaniards, all of them, all of the European nations, they don't want us to get at them because they are the ones who violated our treaties. And if we don't know our treaties, guess what? We don't know who's responsible. We don't know who owes us. We don't know who owes us. And I apologize. Let me just apologize to y'all, right? So some years ago, I've been aware of this for many years, right? And I didn't want to broadcast what I'm broadcasting right now due to the fact, right? I'm not into aiding and abetting foreign criminals, making them aware of, plans, if you will, right? I shared this amongst people I formerly worked with, as well as some people that I work with to this day, so that we can make preparations, we can organize, etc., do what we got to do to get our people together so we can do what we have to do for ourselves. But I've been informed about so much circus clown monkey shit going on throughout this YouTube and social media shit. Meanwhile, what our communities looking like? What are our communities looking like, right? Our communities are taking losses. We're getting overran right now. Been getting over, constant invasion. Smoking Cammy, how you doing? Appreciate your presence. These people that claim to want to speak for us, that claim to want to, communicate some Aboriginal and Indian, they want to debate and shit, right? They want to debate the pen. Ain't nothing to debate about. I want to debate about when the fuck is y'all leaving. That's what I want to debate about. When the fuck is y'all leaving? Like, that's the only debate. When the fuck are you leaving? Your motherland is calling you home. Get the fuck out of here. What's the problem? You want reparations? Take that shit up with Europe. I'm giving all the Pan-Africans, all the Moors, all the Hebrews, I'm giving y'all the fucking books. Let me show you again. Jews and Muslims in British colonial America, genealogical history. This is your 1619 fucking ancestors that came from Europe. Here they are for you. You got the entire European fucking region of Euro-Afro-Asia, right? They're the ones who exiled your ancestors over here to serve as fucking slaves and colonists and criminals amongst my people. So bottom fucking line, when the fuck are you? That's the only debate I got for them. When the fuck are you leaving? Take up your claims in international court. The fuck out of here. Make sense? And stop talking this black shit to my people. It's that fucking simple. Let me show y'all the video because I'm tired of these, real shit. It's too much work that got to be done, and these monkeys are still pushing this monkey shit, producing more and more confusion amongst our youth, and that shit is goddamn wrong. I don't know no Indian. I don't know no real life Indian that's going amongst no goddamn Africans trying to convince them that they're a motherfucking American Indian. Never heard of that shit before. I've never seen an American Indian go to no goddamn Arab, no Hindu, no goddamn pale skin European, no Asian, no breed of fucking form. We don't go to them motherfuckers imposing on them whatever the fuck they may look like, telling them that they're our people. We don't do that shit. But yet and still, you got these Moors, these Hebrews, these Christian converted motherfuckers. Your ancestors was forced to be a fucking Christian under penalty of death. And now here your motherfucking docile coward ass want to fucking tell my people that we have goddamn. Yo, all right. Let me just run a video. Just want to run a video. That's sad. That's sad. Hold up. There you go, right there. 1 second. Here you go.
Yeah.
My question is this.
And that's some time, brother. We're going to keep it moving.
Does the attachment of the color black to power and nationalism undermine the copper-skinned indigenous Americans' recognition for their stolen land? And I'm defining this on the Noah Webster's definition in 1828 dictionary, which defines who the real American is, and not the European that attached themselves to that name. They knew who we were when we got here. Not all of us came over from Africa. So I want that question addressed.
Now, that was partly addressed to the students at the Harvard Law School. Is that right? Are you all ready? You ready?
Man.
Yeah, exactly. You see, you want to hear from me.
What I want to say is this. We got to, we in the teaching phase right now, and I don't know if you want, do you want to hang out in the lobby for a while?
Brother, I'll hold on until I drop.
The way you hold it in your back.
My plane don't leave till 6 in the morning.
I can't work this man like this.
No, I came here to work now, so we're going to
Okay, so I would say this. We want to answer all the questions.
That's right.
And want to speak to all of y'all. I want y'all to meet Dr. West and whatever. But guess what? This has been such an awesome session. It has gone to the last hour. It's gone to the last hour. I want to answer that question. The answer is no, number one. The answer is no. Us saying black power does not undermine the indigenous. I mean, that's the short answer. Now, let's get deeper into it. But the answer is no, only if we start talking about the land and how we're going to divide the land, and we start dictating the terms on the land we don't own.
Yeah, that thing started playing again. Yeah, so you heard it. You heard it. The man asked a real simple question. Does this black power, black nation, black fanaticism, the Morisco, Marrano, Moor, Hebrew, them exiles from Europe, as I've shown y'all tonight, right? I'm showing y'all in past presentations, right? Does their quote-unquote movement to power and nationalism undermine the indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous American nations' pursuit for damages, harm, the abuses, the corruption, etc.? Yo, are they preventing us? Are they undermining? Yo, absolutely, that's the fuck they is. And that motherfucker, goddamn Malik Shabazz, whatever the fuck his name is, that attorney, right? He gonna have the audacity to say no. Then he's gonna continue saying, especially when we're discussing, dividing the land that we don't own. Motherfucker, yo, that's right. You don't have a place here. You don't own shit here. You're black. By definition, you are a foreign criminal exile, descent piece of shit. That's it. You're a foreign descent criminal. Period. You don't have no claim to land here. I don't give a fuck if your peoples got some land through the military bounty land warrants and shit like that for serving in wars against our ancestors over here. I don't care about none of that shit. That don't mean nothing. This is not your land, and you goddamn know it. That's why all y'all motherfuckers push all that goddamn Africa shit. I got one question for all the fucking Pan-Africans that want to do all that fucking monkey-ass debate shit. When the fuck are you leaving? That's the only thing to debate about. How soon will y'all be the fuck up out of here? How soon will y'all Pan-African, Moors, Hebrews, etc.? This is not your land. I don't give a fuck about that fake-ass Al-Murak, fucking a Maxim, and all this goddamn circus clown monkey shit y'all niggas been indoctrinated with. This artificial reality, all this artificial intelligent monkey shit y'all niggas be talking. Yo, I don't care about none of that. You're not from here. What you call yourself is definitive of the fact that you're not from here. You don't belong here. So therefore, when the fuck are you leaving? That's the only debate there needs to be. How much is a debate like that worth? How many millions of plane tickets or boat rides? Matter of fact, fuck yeah. Since y'all sons of bitches want to claim y'all ancestors came over here on boats and shit like that, how about this? Yeah. How many boat tickets of that? Let's put together that budget. Let's debate on what that budget will be and how soon y'all can get the fuck up out of here. What's popping? That's an open invite. That's an open debate right there. Let's debate about that budget and how soon y'all can get the fuck up out of here. Makes sense? Because all this propaganda y'all niggas is talking. I mean, shit, y'all niggas got, y'all got the South Africans fucking with bricks right now. They can finance y'all trip. This BRICS currency, all this fuck America, fuck the US dollar, this, that, and the fucking other. Yo, y'all done chased the fucking bag since y'all been here. Y'all was capturing, attacking, conquering my people to sell them to whomever y'all chose to sell them to, right? Y'all been chasing the bag since you been here, still chasing the fucking bag. Yo, now y'all got this BRICS currency situation going on, backed by the wealth of our lands. Not y'all land, as your goddamn attorney, Malik Shabazz, just gracefully said there, eloquently spoken. How we going to divide land that we don't own? That's right, nigga. You don't own this shit. Fuck no. You know the goddamn truth, nigga. You know the fucking truth. This is why I say coward season is over. Scout season is on. This is why they want to prevent our people from having a fucking voice, from being able to communicate truth to our own. Our youth deserve the fucking truth. Our youth deserve a better experience. In order for these things to happen, it requires an investment. It requires an investment. Yo, hey, Dark Gable, I feel you. Debating a snigger is another time wasting tactic. Hey, I'll put it like this, right? Yo, hey, I will debate these motherfuckers so I can take that bread and invest in my people, while encouraging other foreigners to invest in these monkeys getting the fuck out of here. That's not a waste of time, in my opinion. In my logic, it's strategic. But they have to be qualified. Like this so-called Cornel West or this Malik Shabazz character. I think them niggas is qualified. They know a lot, don't they? These niggas want to run for president. They want to claim to be criminal defense attorneys and civil rights attorneys and all this type of monkey shit. But meanwhile, all this civil rights talk they do, they have no reference to the Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968. That shit ain't had nothing to do with these niggas. And he withheld that from our youth then, as they're withholding it from our youth now. There's too many receipts at this point. There ain't nothing to talk about. Get the work. Exactly. I'm with you on that. Definitely with you on it. There's too many receipts. Absolutely. I'm all about the work. I'm all about it. Thing is, who else is about it, though? That's the question. Who else is about the work? That's what I'm going to do for y'all, right? I'm going to run back this, what's his name, Hassan Campbell video. Because once again, we're discussing our active American ethnocide is being conducted by these foreigners. And I would like for y'all to really listen to what is being said by this Muslim. All right? I'm about to put some more coffee in my cup. I'll be right back. Appreciate y'all.
that would have changed the way I would have handled them was the fact that I didn't know Gilly and Wallow was my Muslim brothers. Our Muslim brothers. So that right there would have changed the way I would have handled the situation with my brothers. Because what the law says is a Muslim's life, family, and property is sacred to another Muslim, which means that Gilly, Wallow, and Young Cheese life, family, and property is sacred to me. So I would have handled my brothers totally different.
The Muslims were attacked in Monroe, Louisiana. Elijah Muhammad gave no signal to anybody across the nation to come to the defense of their brothers. When our brothers were attacked in Los Angeles, again, Elijah Muhammad gave no signal to anybody to come to the defense of those brothers. Never have the Muslims anywhere in the country gotten any kind of instruction from the national office or headquarters on how to defend themselves when they are attacked by outsiders. The only times the Muslims have ever been given any instructions to commit violence is when that violence is directed against the fellow Muslim. When that violence is directed against the fellow Muslim. His followers are violent against Negroes. His followers are violent against Negroes.
Against Negroes?
Yes, his followers will go out and attack another Negro, like they will attack me. Or they will brutalize a fellow Muslim who breaks the law. But you don't find those same followers going out and becoming involved in the Negro struggle in any way whatsoever.
The following extract is from Blacks of the Land. Open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and whom they please.
Tomahawks only. Black people, be honest with yourselves. We are the Aboriginal American people. Much appreciation, that's all I can, but we are more, you are motherfucking right. This is us, this is ours. We are the real natives of America. We ain't them slave ship niggas, we was here. Don't let them lie to you. Oh, you was the slave ship. No, we was here. Stop letting them lie.
Who we really are as a tribe. And this is why they're allowed to do anything and treat us anyway, because we don't have a spokesman to represent us in our natural form as a tribe, as the real true natives of America. We are the natives. We traveled the world before the slave ships, and because we can't identify ourselves other than with Jesse Jackson, he put that spell on us, and he knew what he was doing when he called us African Americans. There is no such thing as a African American. You ever seen an American Jamaican? No. Like, look at the mind games that they play. But nevertheless, this is why you will never win in the courts the way that you're supposed to, because you can't prove to the courts who you are. You dig?
No more!
Yeah. That's right. Messi Jesse Abule member, a descendant of those Prince Hall African Lodge members. That's right. Because the predecessor, before there was ever Boule, they 1904 with it. Meanwhile, the Prince Hall African Lodge, they late 1700s with it. You know what I'm saying? Prince Hall African Lodge, late 1700s. They are the predecessor, as I mentioned earlier. They was practicing Ethiopianism, Orientalism, mysticism, foreign mysticism, and all of that nonsense in their lodges. I showed y'all in the hidden coloreds, the hidden coloreds. That's what these niggas is. They the hidden coloreds and all of that, right? I showed y'all in that series that I did. The dude, Prince Hall of the African Lodge, he wrote a letter to the governor of Massachusetts volunteering himself and his lodge members to put down a rebellion in the early 1800s. Imagine that. Y'all might have saw me over there on the dude Tribe Biz Wild Indian channel a couple years ago where we was discussing all the circus shit, right? And I brought up that point right there dealing with Prince Hall and his African lodge volunteering to put down a rebellion to this past governor of Massachusetts colony company, right? Because that's a company / colony, right? Anyway, I asked him, the dude, his name was DJ Bay, right? I asked him, like, yo, what type of privileges do you think he got for such a volunteering? He never gave me a complete answer. I didn't expect him to. But we do know some of these super s'mores, the Super S'morio brothers, they get a lot of passes in society, don't they? They get a lot of passes in society. Why? Because they serve their master against us, the Indian. The Moors, as we just heard Hassan Campbell say, right? Remember, a Moor is a Muslim. The term is synonymous with that, Negro, Black, Hindu, all of that. I showed y'all the definitions and the etymology earlier, right? Continuing. You heard Hassan Campbell say, had he knew that Gilly was a Muslim, his Muslim brother, he would not have spoken to him in regards to his recently deceased son, right? He wasn't spoken so ignorantly and disrespectfully, abusively, disregarding what, Gilly is experiencing right now. This tragedy, right? But that happens to Indians every day, right? Every day we're losing our American nation's daughters and sons of whatever age, from babies, whether it's due to Planned Parenthood and the abortion, fetal tissue, stem cell industry, the market, whether it's due to the harm caused by rat poison throughout personal care cosmetics, whether it's due to the harm done through all these medications that these eugenicists have manufactured and distributed directly to our elders and anybody that go to their hospitals, right? I don't care how old you are. If you go into their hospitals, they prescribing you with some fucked up chemicals to destroy your mind, your body, compromising the quality and integrity of your spirit. That's what's going on. Got that factor. Losing our youth, our people, all types of foreign manufactured violence, right? Once again, attack, conquer, capture, and sell, right? Got this so-called criminal justice system. This Joe Biden character passed legislation back in the 80s and 90s, right? Destroying, in conjunction with the import of these substances, the crack, the heroin, etc., right? The distribution of these that the foreigners invested in. Working with the Moors and the Hebrews that were pushing these products throughout our territories and communities. You understand? Yo, Black people want to claim our pain as theirs while omitting the fact that they have an active fucking role and a hand within it. Right? See what things is at right now, 2023. Motherfuckers want to talk about Black and brown unity. How the fuck is that going to be black and you're calling brown people black and meanwhile you calling pale skins brown? How the fuck is that going to work? How the fuck is there going to be Black and brown unity when the people that are naturally brown being called black and pale skins are being called brown? And foreigners at that. No representation of our American nation's descendants anywhere. Nowhere in this foreign media system. We got all these blackity black snigger channels on YouTube, so-called platforms and shit. These niggas don't even own these so-called platforms, man. That's circus clown monkey shit. It's circus clown monkey shit. All right, y'all, let me see whatever text I got to show y'all tonight. That's right. We all the brown people. That's right. It says it. Says it. All right. So check it. So same book, Journey to Pennsylvania, 1750. It says here, the savages that live on the borders of the Europeans are frequently seen. Some of them understand a little English. You hear this? So we're talking about the 1750s, and our ancestors within this Pennsylvania region here, they understood little English. So imagine that. Let's just think about that, right? You understand little English, and meanwhile, you're surrounded by foreigners that fully understand English and all types of other foreign languages, and they are abusing your rights in their law books, right? Because I have old text dating out of the 1600s, going into the 1700s, where it's referencing Aboriginal title over there in Europe. They was already discussing our rights here. And it was already decided what Aboriginal title would mean for us here in regards to these foreign invaders and how Aboriginal title does not apply to them. This is before Aboriginal was associated to the so-called Australian. Aboriginal title applied to America first. We are the first that it applied to. Anyway, imagine that. Your rights are being violated and you understand a little English. Now, for those that have done their genealogy or are actively doing their genealogy, once again, what do you see in regards to your ancestors, your predecessors and all of that? Did they speak, read, and write English? Did they? How much English do they speak, read, and write? Because I'm going to tell you something. Many of our people, we lost land due to the fact they was writing shit in English, legal notices, tax assessments to steal our lands. What would have an Indian done if they fully knew English, right? They knew all of these elaborate words and shit, right? And they see a notice being put on a tree, on our trees, mind you, saying that, yeah, you're going to have to come to court. You're going to have to come to court because we're assessing taxes on this land. And yeah, that's fucked up. And like, yo, you looking at this motherfucker putting up a piece of paper on a tree, like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, what is this foreigner doing? Like, what kind of shit is this? But then imagine if that Indian did speak full English, right? Was fully aware of this English language, the intricacies of this language, legalese and Roman law, canon law, ecclesiastical law, and, all this English law, whatever the fuck that was being brought over here against us, right? Imagine if they saw this foreigner put up this sign. What do you think would have happened to that foreigner? What do you think would have happened to that foreigner if them Indians was fully fluent in English, understood a lot of English versus a little English, as we just read? What do you think would have happened to that foreigner? Because where we are today, our rights are being violated every goddamn day. And shit, we got to define all this shit. To this day, we still got to define all of this shit. 15 USC 1691, 1681, CFRs and shit. Corpus Juris Secundum, American jurisprudence books, etymology books, old George Catlin books, former President James Buchanan books, Constantine Samuel Rafinsky books, John Ogilvy books, etc., etc., etc. The list goes goddamn on. We gotta fucking study our asses off to catch up to what these foreigners have done against us. Pardon me. Sister Soul, how you doing?
You good, brother. Exactly. I'm good. Just catching up. I was in the chat in and out because I was running around, so I didn't hear most of it, but I'm trying to catch up now.
Oh yeah, we just going over some things here. Trying to, I got what's this? Got two more pages to show. before I conclude. But yeah, appreciate your presence. And yeah, what do you think about all of this? Did you see that Hassan Campbell video where he's saying what he's saying about his Muslim brothers and how he will treat them differently?
No.
You didn't see that? Oh shit. Hold on, let me run
I
that
came
back
in
for
a
you.
few minutes late when you first started. Was it like the first few minutes? 'Cause I think I came in maybe 10, 15 minutes after you started.
Yeah, the video's like 3 minutes long. I'm gonna run it back for you because I would
Okay.
definitely like your opinion on this. Is that cool?
Yep, definitely.
Okay, cool. Let me run it right now. Here you go.
How we gonna do it? The hard way. How we gonna do it? The hard way. How we gonna do it? The hard way.
And would have changed the way I would have handled them was the fact that I didn't know Gilly and Wallow was my Muslim brothers. Our Muslim brothers. So that right there would have changed the way I would have handled the situation with my brothers. Because what the law says is a Muslim's life, family, and property is sacred to another Muslim, which means that Gilly, Wallow, and Young Chief's life, family, and property is sacred to me. So I would have handled my brothers totally different.
The Muslims were attacked in Monroe, Louisiana. Elijah Muhammad gave no signal to anybody across the nation to come to the defense of their brothers. When our brothers were attacked in Los Angeles, again, Elijah Muhammad gave no signal to anybody to come to the defense of those brothers. Never have the Muslims anywhere in the country gotten any kind of instruction from the national office or headquarters on how to defend themselves when they are attacked by outsiders. The only times the Muslims have ever been given any instructions to commit violence is when that violence is directed against the fellow Muslim. When that violence is directed against the fellow Muslim. His followers are violent against Negroes. His followers are violent against Negroes.
Against Negroes?
Yes, his followers will go out and attack another Negro, like they will attack me. Or they will brutalize a fellow Muslim who breaks the law. But you don't find those same followers going out and becoming involved in the Negro struggle in any way whatsoever.
The following extract is from Blacks of the Land. Open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and whom they please.
Tomahawks only. Black people, be honest with yourselves. We are the Aboriginal American people. Much appreciation, Hassan Campbell. We are more. You are motherfucking right. This is us. This is ours. We are the real natives of America. We ain't them slave ship niggas. We was here. Don't let them lie to you. Oh, you was the slave ship. No, we was here. Stop letting them lie.
Who we really are as a tribe. And this is why they're allowed to do anything and treat us anyway, because we don't have a spokesman to represent us in our natural form as a tribe, as the real true natives of America. We are the natives. We traveled the world before the slave ships, and because we can't identify ourselves other than with Jesse Jackson, he put that spell on us, and he knew what he was doing when he called us African Americans. There is no such thing as a African American. You ever seen an American Jamaican? No. Like, look at the mind games that they play. But nevertheless, this is why you will never win in the courts the way that you're supposed to, because you can't prove to the courts who you are. You dig?
What? Okay, I heard what stood out to me. Some of that I missed. It was kind of scrambled, like on that after Malcolm X speech. But I heard him say he was a Islam. I heard him say he was a Moor, and I heard him say he was a Native. So I don't get the angle. I don't understand what he was actually saying. To be honest, it was all over the place.
Okay, so let me just provide a little context. Basically, what he was saying is, so recently, about a week ago, you got a rapper by the name, I believe it's Gilly the Kid, out of Philadelphia, right?
Uh-huh.
His son was recently killed. young dude, right? He another rapper, right? Anyway, he was recently killed, and so Hassan Campbell on his channel, he decided to speak, harshly, abusively, ignorantly about the situation, right? And numerous people condemned him for it or what have you. And then yesterday, I believe Hassan Campbell made a video that I just clipped there where he's saying, had he knew that Gilly and his son and his people were Muslims, he would have treated them differently. He would have behaved differently towards them in the name of Allah and Islam and being a Muslim and all of that, right? So that's the first part. I continue with an old Malcolm X clip where Malcolm X is saying how the Nation of Islam was attacking Negroes. They was attacking their own, but they wouldn't attack nobody else. Right?
Right.
Concluding with some old clips of Hassan Campbell. I jumped on one of his lives a couple years ago. I shot him a couple dollars so he can read what I wrote. And then you heard what he said about you motherfucking right. We all the Aboriginal, we all the quote unquote natives and all of that. And then he followed up maybe like a year later saying the same thing, adding a little bit more, and that's when it ended. So what do you think about that? Because it's a lot of confusion with that character, Hassan Campbell. It's a lot of confusion.
Yes, that's the whole thing. That's the word right there, confusion. He is definitely some type of avatar character. Everything he's saying is very confusing, doesn't make any sense. He's not going around any valid points. All this about he'll protect his brother, this and that. Oh, if I wouldn't have did it, if I knew it was them, you shouldn't have did it, period. It wasn't your place to speak on nobody if you didn't know the situation. You didn't know enough about the situation to know that they was your Muslim brother, so why are you even speaking on it? That don't even make sense to me. So you jumped out there just saying any old damn thing. So you just run your mouth, just like to talk, causing confusion, just like now everybody going on not off topic, that the Jamie Foxx shit. Oh, he's a clone. Oh, they clone. Oh, all this. They make all these. But every time I turn around, I'm seeing the video about this. Why do we even care? Do we give a damn? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not a part of Jamie's life. I don't go to his parties. I don't visit them. We ain't lovers, like none of that. So I'm just wondering why the whole world and community, especially our community, is supposed to be so woke. Why are they so preoccupied with what's going on with Jamie Foxx? So this the same type of thing the dude Hassan Campbell is doing. Everything is about he's just talking. He wants to be entertaining. He wants to attach to the sentiment or what have you of certain cultures. Like, so he said, oh, my Islam brother. So now all these Islams gonna come out, oh, Islam said this and this. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's just talking, just saying anything. He don't even have any character with what he's saying.
Word. So I want to ask you this though. What do you think about his statement in regards to treating a Muslim different from a non-Muslim though? What do you think about that?
I think that's BS. What kind of sense does that make? You're supposed to treat everybody the same with the same respect that you want or expect for them to receive from you. So whether they're Muslim, non-Muslim, Moor, whatever, because he don't even know what he is his damn self. He already said 3 different things. We Aboriginal natives, we Moors, we my Hebrew brothers. I mean, he don't even know what he is. So if that's the case, you really don't even know. You should treat everybody the same. There's nothing he should be saying about that. Keep your confidence to yourself. That's the way I feel about that.
Okay, so the reason why it stood out to me, right? When we read the Masonic constitutions, right? It says for any of the foreigners, generally speaking, right? They defend their own brothers, their own sisters, their own people. You see what I'm saying? It says in some of their constitutions, I read one of the old Masonic constitutions some years ago out of the 1700s, and it blatantly says in there, it is forbidden to condemn a fellow brother.
Right, they're not supposed to speak down or harsh on them, and certain things about them, this and that. That part is a cover up. That right there, I feel they do that to cover up, just like how Malcolm X came out and started talking about who is it, Elijah, whoever,
That's right.
one of the prophet people. So when he came out and started talking about that, they turned against him because, oh, you're speaking on what's going on with the brothers outside of us, and you're talking bad against us. You're saying negative things. So that's what made him a castaway. But he had the right to speak on what was wrong. So anything that they do wrong, you're going to back what's wrong. You're going to back what's wrong. You're going to back what's right. As long as they say it, they're right in the eyes of your God, which is in your mindset of this Islam shit. So how can you no they should not be doing that.
And so I want to continue with that point though, right? So initially, according to Malcolm's own words, he first was brought these allegations in regards to the pedophilia of Elijah Muhammad, because in Islam pedophilia is accepted. It is tolerated. I've shown y'all the definition of the word catamite. You can look up catamite Moor, catamite Muslim. You will see that is a boy held for sexual purposes. Once again, it says a boy held for sexual purposes. That's a reference to pedophilia, and this is in their religious beliefs. Okay. Now,
a Muslim dude was you know how they on the corners talking or whatever. I seen a video from that Morris World guy. He was showing the Islam's people and what they say. The guy literally was sitting there saying that they have the right to take a young virgin girl and basically rape her, like just take her because they want her. I'm listening to this shit. I said, this got to be a joke right now. I know this dude ain't say this.
No, this is really what they believe, and so this
These
is
are some sick ass people. I'm sorry.
That's right. That's what I'm showing these. That's why I'm showing these old texts here, where it's saying, all right, Indians of the interior. All right, so that means Indians of the interior of our land, where they were invading, right, is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack, conquer, and capture the Indians to later sell them where to whom they please. So these abuses are attacks.
Right.
And it's permitted because to them, we are heathens, we are savages, we are idolaters, we are against their God by default. And so as a result of their religious fanaticism, which they brought to our land, they invaded our land with their fanaticism and their criminality and all of that, right?
Right.
It's permitted. They are permitted to be abusive towards us. And they do not want us to be aware of this.
Yeah, according to them, right, brother. According to their false teachings and everything that they did, they're saying that it's permitted, and it's like an undisclosed thing.
That's right. We I said in my book, and I've said numerous times repeatedly over the years, our American people have not been given full disclosure. Period. And so it is on us. That is our duty to provide full disclosure in regards to these horrific realities documented throughout history and time since this invasion occurred. We have to provide ourselves with full disclosure, because if we leave it to them, they're not going to do it while they're engaged in ethnocide and revisionist history.
Correct. It's up to us. We have to make sure we're documenting. We have to make sure that we're leaving record of the truth and the facts and documentation, so that the it's out there. We can't leave it up to them to do it, because look what they've been doing all along. As soon as they got a chance to get into our system, they start changing things and making lies and all this other shit.
That's right. That's right. These are our natural duties here. You know what I mean? And we are being withheld. We are being distracted. I mean, let's just take another look at the type of funding that was in the heights of the crack era to HBCUs. Over $500 million going to HBCUs alone, targeting our youth that was attending these HBCUs and whatever descendants of Marranos and Moriscos, the Moors, the Moorish descent and the Hebrew descent people that was forced to convert to Islam, forced to convert to Christianity and all of that. Them descendants was being taught how to be operatives on our lands via these HBCUs. That's what I see here. This is CIA funding here. Yeah, that we're looking at on the screen right now.
And this what I be saying. Now, you tell me what you think of this, brother, because you know me, I go off the top of my head off the other shit I see too. When it comes to that part, right, I see that as the funding or the ancestors that actually had, like, I would say, stock in what was going on in the schools and things when they started up the stuff, right? Even though they were used for the purpose against us or whatever, a lot of people's ancestors have rights or whatever to a lot of this stuff. So when it comes to it, they take that money, like they'll say, oh, this is so much money allocated for this, this, and that, and blah, blah, blah. They take that money and say it's for the school and they use it for whatever they want to do, but they're able to do that because they're saying that it's for the school. That's the only way they can get the money. They have to have the reason or the school foundation and what it stands for to be able to solicit certain monies for certain things. So then they'll launder it and they'll use it for their purposes versus for actually educating in the proper way, obviously, or whatever, you know?
I hear you.
Do that
But
make
let
sense?
me ask,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, I understand what you're saying, but let me ask you this though, right? Let's consider the fact that
Your volume going out.
am I clear? Am I good?
No,
I'm not good.
no, it's like really low.
It's really
Yeah, I'll
low.
put a one in the chat if he good. Make sure it's not my phone. Can somebody put a one in the chat if he's good, or a two if he got real low? Because it's so low for me. I can
Yeah, let me
barely
know
hear
what my
you.
audio quality is right now. One if it's good, two if it's not.
Let me mute too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't let me check the frequency right now. Yeah, well, stream y'all saying my audio's good. Is this thing even
Okay, it's probably
updated?
me. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so I got this question for you, right? Okay, yeah, they put a one in the chat. Not even updating on YouTube. That's crazy. All right, so when we see here this type of funding in the height of the crack era, by the way, this says 1981, fiscal year 1981, and then they go 4 years later to 1985, right? I would just like to recall, and let me show you the list of universities too, by the way, right? This is documented in the same text here, right? Same document. Where's it at? Towards the bottom. Let me just jump to the bottom real quick. Okay. Where's it at? My question is, hold on, what's that? Oh, so you back? Okay. All right. Yeah, you're back, so. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was
in this
trying to see what's
document,
going on. Mm-hmm.
right. So in this document, we see the list of universities, right? We see Hampton University, Norfolk State University, St. Paul's College, Prairie View A&M University. We see Virginia State University, Virginia Union University. All right. Prior to that, we got Morristown College, Southwestern Christian College, Texas Southern University, Bishop College, Tennessee State University, Wiley College, Huston and Tillotson College. Let me see this other page here. Morris College, Meharry Medical College. Let's go. Let's try to find some of these well-known universities on here, right? Because the question in which I have, right, and it's divided in states. So we got Fisk University. Fisk University is directly connected to Planned Parenthood in my research, right? We got Voorhees College, Lincoln University, South Carolina State College. Okay. Now, this is across the country we're seeing. We got Langston University, Oklahoma, right? We got colleges in Ohio. We're in North Carolina with colleges. These are territories across North America that we're seeing here, right? Missouri, Mississippi. List of them. Maryland. They got it in alphabetical order over there in Kentucky, right? But my question is, when we see in every state where there's an HBCU, they're receiving this type of funding, right? And have you seen, my question is this, have you observed from the 1980s going into the 1990s, leading into where we are today, the abundant push of everything Black coming out of these HBCUs, and now fast forward, it has entered into this internet, social media arena where indoctrination is just incredible right now. And yeah, that's my question. What do you think about that? Yes, it's a soul. You hear? Okay. Let me try to refresh this chat too because my phone is not updating. Okay, here it is updated now. What do y'all think about this? We got Howard University on here. We got the University of District of Columbia, that's UDC, right? We got Clark College. We got Atlanta University on here. Bethune-Cookman College. We got the Interdenominational Theological Center. Right? Albany State College, Delaware State College. All these universities. Florida A&M University, right? I mean, this list goes on and on and on. This list goes on, and Tuskegee's on. Yep, Tuskegee was co-opted by the United Snakes Corporation through R.R. Moulton, a plant to watch Booker T. Washington. Whatever the case may be, they received CIA funding. Is Morgan State on here? Hold on. That's in Maryland. Hold on. Maryland. This is Maryland over. Yep, Morgan State's right here. Yep. I knew people that went to Morgan State. I went to Morgan State even. I went there for business admin. Yeah. Morgan State's on here. That's right. Right there on the right here on the left. Let me zoom in. Get right here. Morgan State. Dr. Earl S. Richardson, the president of Morgan State University. Back in the 80s, they had a 301 number, not a 410. What'd you say? I knew it. My cuz graduated from there, and she the fucking works. God damn, my guy. Goddamn, my guy. Damn. Yeah, I mean, and that's a great point, though. That's a great point, Copper. Let me ask you this. So, if our youth was going to these HBCUs that were being CIA funded, the president's receiving them funds directly because it says right here, president, chancellors. We got University of Maryland right there, Eastern Shore, by the way. All right. Another president, chancellor, acting chancellor, etc. Right? These people are receiving these CIA funds, correct? Coppin State College, that was a university, right? Bowie State College, right? I mean, what's the quality? What's the quality of our people when, like, before they go and then after they graduate? What's the quality of our people? What did they know before they went to these CIA-funded colleges? What was they like before they went? And what were they like when they came back, if they came back, right? Because some of them went off to, pursue whatever career because, they got the career days, like they get directed to go to work. So what you say?
Yeah, real quick, brother. So yeah, on there, I'm sorry, I heard you calling me earlier, but I couldn't grab the phone real quick. But yeah, and on top of that, who else they had there at them schools, brother? If they don't send their ass off to college, where else they sending them off to? They had them the Army, the military, the Navy, Air Force, Marine. They was come visiting the schools and trying to get the kids to enlist.
That's right.
It was either the HBCU or the military. Same thing.
That's right.
Different stories.
And yeah, we're talking. So the question is, right? Like, is anyone interested in doing a FOIA request on current CIA funding of HBCUs? I mean, I think we need to update. This is talking about the 1980s. We're in the 2020s right now. I think I would like to see how many. This document right here is 105 pages.
Yeah, let's do that. A FOIA request sound real good, especially if a whole bunch of people did a mass request on the same inquiry.
I mean, yo, I mean,
That would
this
be
is the work that we. I mean, so so hold on, let me get this straight real quick. So the CIA was invested in the crack era, like they yo, that came out, that was crazy, right?
Yeah.
They invested in a whole crack era simultaneously. They was invested in HBCUs. What type of double, triple whammy is that? It's like a double.
There's so many of them kids using drugs to get through school, right? And, oh, I needed it for a little, I needed a little kick. I had the midterms and, I had to study for this and yeah, using something for a little kick to help them and, to get through the courses and be able to take on all that heavy load.
Oh, and that's a hell of a point right there, because you know what it is at these universities. It's got all types of parties, by all the fraternities and sororities.
That's right.
The boule shit, right? So y'all remember? I don't know if some of y'all might not remember this old story, right? But back in the day, the boule, right? If you, like all the fraternities, all the quote unquote black fraternities, sororities, if you were not lighter than the color of a paper bag, you could not join that fraternity or sorority. Y'all ever heard that story before?
That's right.
Imagine that. And then the hazing practices. This Greek letter shit.
Rituals, the rituals.
The rituals. You see what I'm saying? And then fast forward, it's still going on in the 80s in the heights of the CIA funding. So imagine if the hazing ritual involved your son or daughter having to smoke crack.
That's right. Leading to also the pedophilia and the sex crimes being committed against a lot of high school, high school, but the college students going to these parties, going to these frat parties, especially at the frat parties and stuff. So many cases, and they get it pushed under the rug because they part of what? They little organization.
That's getting CIA funding.
Absolutely.
And keep in mind here, by the way, right? Because I showed y'all that text not out of Africa, right? Damn, I'm showing a lot of text at night. God damn, I'm more and more. Hold on. Let me see. Where's that text at? Ready? Is it here? Let me see. What got it here? You know what? Let me just pull it up from over here. Let me pull it from my Tomahawk curriculum real quick. Historical references, PsyOps education. There it is. PsyOps education. Not out of Africa. Here we go. 1 second, it's coming right up. 436 pages. Not out of Africa. All right. Pan-Africans, they hated this author here. Hey, but okay, so hey, in regards to your grandma in Louisiana, from Louisiana, what have you, and she knew Indian slave owners, yo, so in my book right here, let me show you. Check this out. See these youth right here? These Pelskins right here? Right here it says at the bottom, slave children from New Orleans. You see that? These are slave children. They came here to serve. They came here to work.
All on the orphan train.
Like, look, white slavery or selling white men for debt. And simultaneously, like, let's keep this in mind, because this is all historical record here, right? And this what you see right here on the screen right now. It says this is dated June 27th, 1840. This is before 1865 and all of that. The Emancipation Proclamation and all of that, right? They want to impose this on quote unquote black people, but they want to leave out these people and so many other people. All foreign.
I'm gonna keep telling you was a damn slave, but they ain't talking about their ancestors and shit.
Here go another reference. A picture of slavery for youth. What do you see? These are Pelskins they're showing here.
Tell me, oh, we so sorry for what our ancestors did. Shit, well, damn, we sorry for what our ancestors did to y'all. Can y'all just leave us alone now?
No, this is the reality.
Yeah.
This is the truth here. That's being withheld from our youth. Lady Spade, how you doing? Man, Sonetta don't, man, yo, man, nah, man. Sonetta don't want to play with me, man. Sonetta don't like Tomahawk Tony. Go ask him.
But you know what, brother? He did let me come over there and build the. I did it one time because the dude Ab had went up there talking about the spots or whatever. I was gonna talk on that, but I said I'm gonna leave that shit alone. But either way, I wanted to show them how they had these colonies and they made the reservations on the colonies and how they were able to make these tribes on the in the colonies and how the pastor became the chief and they would name him an honorary chief. So I had the documents for that, the women's mission board and all this other stuff that I pulled up. He allowed me, brother, to literally go through all my shit. Anybody came up there that was talking power, he was like, y'all gonna respect the sister. You know, I will say that. And that was my only time ever going up there. Another time I would try to jump up there, him with that camera shit. Look, I don't really like that camera shit. I'll turn on for a minute, but I'm not gonna keep my camera on. Everybody looking into what the hell I'm saying off, all that. I don't feel comfortable. So I don't really go up there like that. But he will let a good spill get out. So like if you wanted to, I know you say you don't really mess with them, but I'd be loving to like show them the shit sometimes, just put it in their face, especially kindly and with the proof and the documents and just say, hey, I ain't trying to tell you shit or convince you of a damn thing, but hey, this is what it is. This say that. You see it for yourself. I ain't telling you nothing. That's
Sister
how I
Soul,
like to put it down.
Sister Soul, feel free to line it up. You know what I mean? I'll give you all types of these references here. You can do your thing. This is all body work right here. This is all body work. Pan Africans going to be stuck. Because none of the Pan Africans want to talk about these pale skins, and they damn sure want to talk about the Barbary slave trade. They don't want to. They don't want to talk about the role of those Moors and those Moors and Hebrews that were selling, that was kidnapping the pale skins out of Europe and selling them throughout North Africa, going to them Arabs, and all of that. They don't want to talk about none of that.
They're embarrassed of that, huh?
Yeah.
They want people to keep believing that they was the ones that did everything and had everything, and we ain't have nothing and came from nothing. And yeah, they want people to believe that lie and story. So of course they don't want to admit to that. But shit, the proof is in the pudding.
All day it is. Look. So this is Rebecca, Charlie, and Rosa, slave children from New Orleans. There was plenty more. Plenty more. She was in Virginia, redeemed in Virginia. That's what it says. Redeemed in Virginia. This is before Epstein Island, too, by the way. This is long before Epstein Island.
Yes. They have this funny. I was telling my friend one time about the Cabbage Patch Brother. You remember the Cabbage Patch dolls that came out?
That's right.
Now, that's mimicking them, talking like showing their story, literally about the Cabbage Patch. They had a what do you say, a crusade or whatever with these Cabbage Patch children, and they even had a one of those movies, the ones that don't play no sound, but it'll show the words. I forgot what you call it, those black and white still movies or whatever. They had a movie called Cabbage Patch talking about the story of them bringing in these immigrant freaking orphan babies and creating them in the incubators, laughing about it, basically like talking about how, they had all of them being showcased at the World's Fairs, and because when they were at the World Fairs, they had the incubator machines showing them, and they had those when I was young, even at the museum in Chicago, they had an incubator for like so you could just watch the chicken hatch, and I mean, so it's nothing new. They still do that. My daughter said they had it at her school too, and she in her 20s. The incubators, so they've been showing this stuff forever. We just don't be knowing or seeing, what's really going on or whatever the case may be. But yeah, they had the Cabbage Patch. We gonna do a build on it one day so I could show them. It's literally documentation on it. The Cabbage Patch Kids. It was in the 1800s, and that's where they made those dolls from. The little birth certificate, everything. Literally, it's talking about them, the orphan children that they brought in, and the infant children.
All right. So let me in regards to these children that we're seeing in these old pictures, right? I just want to provide some context of their experience being transported to North America. All right. So on the left of this page, let me go to drop this in the chat as well, so you all can have this reference for yourselves too. All right. Drop it right here. Here you go. Where we at? Right here, right? So it says, frequently, children cry out against their parents, husbands against their wives, and wives against their husbands, brothers and sisters, friends and acquaintances against each other, but most against the soul traffickers. So once again, y'all, this book is titled Journey to Pennsylvania in the year 1750, all right? Now, it's describing how these people were literally being robbed on these ships. They was being tricked into leaving Europe to go to North America. And they were being robbed on these ships. They were being raped, beat up. They was being pushed overboard. And then if they made it, because, the ships were wrecking, and if they actually made it to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia ports and all of that, they had to sell their children, even their wives, to get off the ships. Sell their children into slavery. So I'm just providing context here, right? So where we at? Many sigh and cry, oh, that I were at home again. They wish they could go home again. And if I had to lie in my pigsty, lie in their filth, right? Or they say, oh God, if I only had a piece of good bread or a good fresh drop of water. Many people whimper, sigh, and cry piteously for their homes. Most of them get homesick. Many hundred people necessarily die and perish in such misery and must be cast into the sea, which drives their relatives or those who persuaded them to undertake the journey to such despair that it is almost impossible to pacify and console them. In a word, the sighing and crying and lamenting on board the ship continues night and day, so as to cause the hearts even of the most hardened to bleed when they hear it. No one can have an idea of the sufferings which women in confinement have to bear with their innocent children on board these ships. Few of this class escape with their lives. Many a mother is cast into the water with her child. Continuing. As soon as she is dead. One day, just as we had a heavy gale, meaning heavy wind, a woman in our ship who was to give birth and could not give birth under the circumstances was pushed through a loophole, a porthole in the ship, and dropped into the sea because she was far in the rear of the ship and could not be brought forward. Continuing. Children from 1 to 7 years old rarely survive the voyage, and many a times parents are compelled to see their children miserably suffer and die from hunger, thirst, and sickness, and then to see them cast into the water. I witnessed such misery in no less than 32 children in our ship, all of whom were thrown into the sea. This is the 1700s here that we're talking about. And based on what was going on in the 1700s, it's safe to say, and there's plenty of documentation on it, right? This was also happening in the 1600s, the 1500s, when they were exiling all of their foreign criminals and just random peasants and whatever quality of people that they had in Europe right over here. This was their journey. This was their travel. I have the right to travel, right? Okay. You got the right to die a horrible death. Continuing, the parents grieve all the more since their children find no resting place in the earth, but are devoured by the monsters of the sea. It is a notable fact that children who have not yet had the measles or smallpox generally get them on board this ship. Once again, I told y'all earlier, right, on them ships, they had all types of diseases, smallpox, measles, etc. Often the father is separated by death from his wife and children, or mothers from their little children, or even both parents from their children, and sometimes whole families die in quick succession, so that often many dead persons lie in the berths beside the living ones. So we're talking about they're on their way to North America, right? And on their way to North America, right next to them is one of their dead European people. And this is a mixed population here too, by the way. This is not limited to pale skins. This is all types of foreigners here coming directly from Europe. I showed y'all that 1619 text, 1620s text, Jews and Muslims in British colonial America, the genealogical history, right? I showed y'all that earlier. Let me go to the next one because I want y'all to see how these children were being sold. Let me see. You got it here. Here we go. This page is dealing with it. Yep. Look, right there. Page to the left, pardon me, to the right. It says, many parents must sell and trade away their children like so many head of cattle. So hold on. You mean to tell me our youth are being told about these imaginary African slaves? Because I've proven to y'all that those so-called African slaves came directly from Europe. Moriscos and Marranos, Moors and Hebrews. I've proven that to y'all. 1619 nonsense. Yeah, I showed y'all the truth and reality on that, right? Now I'm showing y'all this text right here where many parents must sell and trade away their children like so many head of cattle, for if their children take the debt upon themselves, the parents can leave the ship free and unrestrained. But as the parents often do not know where and to what people their children are going, it often happens that such parents and children, after leaving the ship, do not see each other again for many years, perhaps no more in all their lives.
That's right.
So in regards to this little girl that we see over here, there's not even a date for her. There's no date for her. I'm going to have to just require research. Matter of fact, no, it says entered recording to Act of Congress in the year 1863. It's real blurred right there. This is 1863 right there. But we're talking about an experience in the 1750s. Like a whole 100 years. And the misery continues for these foreigners, right? And we wonder why their descendants are so deprived and deranged right now, still with no respect for us. What they say, hurt people, hurt people. Ain't that what they say? Hurt people, hurt people. God damn, these hurt people over here, didn't they?
You know they hurt. You know they hurt.
So yes, so I mean, yeah, you want to go on Sonetta with this? All I ask is shout me out, you know what I mean? Because I got, man, I will blow you up so you can. So the Sonetta, only thing he got to do is keep on pressing that Sonetta bomb. You know the joint he pressed like boom. Feel me?
Right.
You know, every time you drop something, he gonna have to play that bomb song, that bomb sound, that sound effect. And that little video, yeah, he got to show that.
Oh yeah, he did when I was on there last time. I popped off on there, and I was time. I didn't do shit but show document. He loved it. He loved it. I had everything I had to say. I was showing him the proof of the shit.
That's right. And that's as Indians, that's how we got to do. Because these foreigners, they want to come with their little books. Oh, I got the Circle 7. Oh, I got the Bible. Oh, I got this. I got that. All right, well, this is what I got. This is not myth. This is nonfiction, pure nonfiction. I don't do fiction. I don't do mythology. These are horror stories right here. Moriscos, Marranos, various breeds of pale skins, the Slavs, etc. Arabs was on this. Shorty had Asians on this. And we're talking about the entire Eastern Seaboard. So many ports were established along the Eastern Seaboard. Yes, this is so I think you may have me on two devices over there. And that's causing an echo.
My bad, brother. I want you to play this video too when you get a chance.
What video? I'll put it in the back chat.
I sent it to your email.
Can you put it in the chat?
I can't because I'm on my phone.
Hold on, let me see it over real quick. Oh, the incubator. Okay.
Yeah, I want
that's yeah, see, the situation StreamYard is not letting me play videos that I haven't uploaded to StreamYard. Like it's just doing it without video. So like all the videos that I've been running, I had to upload them to StreamYard so that you know people play it here and show you with the audio.
Okay.
Yes, so you still got me on 2 devices?
No, but I can get off of here and come on my computer.
Okay, yes, I just don't want to have a distortion for people in the chat because they're mentioning it.
Oh, it's an echo?
Yeah, that's what they're saying in the chat. Yeah, Empress Roll, said there's an echo.
She said that last time everybody else ain't had no echo. So check your thing now.
Oh no, I hear the echo myself too.
Oh, maybe it's this phone then. Yeah, I'm finna come on the computer.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, what do y'all think about all of this? I mean, once again, with this active American ethnocide that we're dealing with generation after generation due to, the eugenicists and their board education and whatever societies, the American Colonization Society and all these foreign religious institutions and etc., right? There are medical institutions and scientific institutions, including the Moorish Scientific, what they call themselves, the Moorish Scientist of America. Hold on. Moorish Science Temple of America. Yeah, all propaganda. All propaganda, right? All ethnocide. Combined with propaganda, combined with indoctrination. Targeting our youth, simultaneously programming foreigners to hate us. While our American identity is being completely stolen. Let me just show y'all the definition of ethnocide again. Because, this is evidence is being withheld. So this is a quick Google definition, right? You see it? Ethnocide. The deliberate and systematic destruction of the culture of an ethnic group. Our ethnic group is American. Now, of course, we can get intricate with it, right? I mean, well, you do have the Noah Webster's 1828 definition of American. That's us. Blatantly says it there, right? We could get definitive. Once again, like for me, I could say I'm Charles Hakanadawa American. I'm Atacapa, I'm Choctaw American. The list goes on. But collectively speaking, without having me go into details about my bloodline from right here throughout this American continent, I would just simply say I'm American. And now I know we got people that's going to say, well, America comes from Amerigo Vespucci. Well, I got a document for you. This is from the Atlantic Monthly, okay? And I just want to give a shout out to Charlene Brown, all right? Good woman. I believe she's from down there in Tennessee, right? So in this document here, this document is dated, I think it's 1874. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, Atlantic Monthly, a magazine of literature, science, art, and politics. Oh, this is 1875. My apologies, right? So right there, you see origin of the name America, right? And this is also a part of my Tomahawk Tony curriculum. Pardon me, I call it the Tomahawk curriculum. That's what I call it, right? Show y'all real quick. Look. Yo, look. It says right here on the left column, right? I'm gonna highlight it, right? Amaric, or Amaric is the name in Nicaragua for the highland or mountain range that lies between Juigalapa or Gapa and Libertad in the province of Chontales, and which reaches on one side into the country of the Carcas Indians. So look at here, we got the Carcas Indians, and on the other into that of the Ramas Indians. You see that? The name America, it comes from our literal land. Remember, this whole land, this is a continent. America is a continent. It's not just North America. That's why they say North, Central, South, including the Caribbean, correct? That's all America. And did not come from no goddamn fake-ass Vespucci. Let me show you Vespucci here. Let me show you that weirdo. Vespucci. It was not Amerigo. Right? Oh, right here. Look, it says right here too. And in these last years, gold has been found in the tombs of the Aborigines of that country. You see this? Gold is found in our tombs. But they don't want our youth to know this, do they? Over here in the left column, it says, the greatest probability for a true solution of the origin of this word America, which dominates alone a hemisphere. We are that hemisphere. Okay? Continuing. Pull up Vespucci real quick. Where's Vespucci at? No, it's okay. Okay, here we go. Right here. Look. In order to accomplish this, it was necessary to change considerably the Christian name of Vespucius, and from Albericus, Alberico, Amerigo, and Morigo, which are the different ways of spelling the first name of Vespucio, or Vespucci, or Vespucci. He made Americus. Thus, according to my view, it is owing to a grave mistake of Hyla Comelus that the Aboriginal name of the New World Americ or Americ has been Europeanized and connected with the son of Anastasio Vespuccio. When we have people saying fuck America and all of that shit, let me tell you something. They're saying fuck our land and fuck our people. That's a problem. You understand how this is a problem? They Europeanized what is ours. Foreigners want to come here, lose their identity while being themselves, right? Call us an American Negro once upon a time ago. Then they advanced that into a Black American. Fast forward a little bit to an African American. And now just simply you're Black. Put on employment papers and whatever other paperwork, you can put African, you can check that African American box, can't you? And meanwhile, by doing so, you're engaging in your own ethnocide. So I just wanted to prove that to y'all as well, again, right? And once again, shout out to Charlene Brown, because she's the one who did this research here. She showed a clip of this. I sourced the actual document, as you see on the screen right now. This is an entire document from 1875, clearly stating that the term America in all of its variations come from our American Indian nations, people's linguistics and dialects. Yes, this is so my bad. I get into it. You feel me? How y'all doing out there though? How's everybody doing tonight? This is so how you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
I'm glad you're doing great.
Doing great.
Like people doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you know. Hey, look. It says right here, the name Americ, although Aboriginal, makes no confusion between a part and the whole, because the locality where it exists as Lude is too small, obscure, and insignificant to give rise to any false or double meaning of the term. Finally, this name appears to be admirably chosen, extending as the Americ range does from the center to the extremities of the continent, radiating, as it were, giving one hand to the north and one to the south, looking to the Antilles and to the Pacific, and being even the central point of the immense chain of mountains which extends from Tierra del Fuego to the borders of Mackenzie River and forms the backbone of the Western Hemisphere. In truth, the longest range of mountains upon our globe. Body work. That's body work. Why is this being withheld from our youth generation after generation? Is it because of CIA funding? Is that the reason? $500 million plus since at least the 1980s? It's incredible, ain't it? And once again, this truth has always been available to us. Always. Look, it says the first European who heard and pronounced the word Amharic or Amharic, although we have no material certainty of this. They have no material certainty of any European who first heard and pronounced the word. And matter of fact, if you do research on this Alberico Vespuccio, he never came to anywhere within this American continent when you really get into that word. He never even came here. And then it concludes right here. In a word, the name Amharic is American. Hey, so you want to say anything? Because I think I've made my point this evening in regards to the American ethnocide.
Well, I want you to show the video so people can see how they was actually literally creating these babies, creating these freak shows to make money off of showing them, selling them for $20 a pop, all that. I don't know if it say that about that, but they were selling them for $20.
No doubt. See, the situation I mentioned earlier, right? StreamYard is not letting me. It's not doing no audio when I show a video online. Like I have to upload it to StreamYard. I have to download the video, then upload it to StreamYard in order for me to play it, and it's a little tedious for me to do right now. Oh yeah, hey, well, so yeah, hold on, you want another device right there? Oh, you okay? Cool. Yeah, you got the joint right there. Yeah, screen share. Hell yeah, do that. Yeah, you see my no audio. Is it on your?
This happened and showcased as attractions at the World Fairs and even in New York's Coney Island. Can you even imagine carnival attractions where people paid to watch babies growing in incubators? Where were the parents? What happened to all of the babies? Well, have you heard of the orphan trains? They were packed off and shipped out west to help repopulate the great Tartarian cities found abandoned across the land. They were sent to humongous orphanages, and the people were able to get orphans to work their farms and factories. Free labor was abundant, and it was needed to rebuild after the last reset. There is loads of evidence showing that the original Cabbage Patch Kids were these orphans which people just simply picked up and took home like fresh produce. Many children were basically indentured servants and were subjected to lifelong slave labor and sexual abuse. Everything they taught you is a lie. America was covered with empty Tartarian cities left to rot after the Great Reset, and those that followed grew a few millions babies to repopulate and rebuild. They dug out those cities and started over. Research Tartaria and ask questions. Suspend your disbelief. Like, follow, and share.
Yeah, it wasn't abandoned though, we know that.
Yeah, this wasn't Tartaria neither.
That part.
This is not Tartaria. But Sister Soul, that's absolutely correct right there in regards to these babies being bred. And I want to make a point here, right? Before I make this point, Empress Romani, do I have a link? Well, all this information I've been showing tonight is within my Tomahawk. I don't know. It's all within my Tomahawk directory here. This Tomahawk curriculum is all right here. Send an email. You can go in the description. There's a link to stopthegenocide.us on there. You can use the contact form and send a message directly. Just reference this and we can discuss it. You know what I mean? Definitely make it available. Where was I at though? Yeah. I was on the screen with you. We was looking at something. Yeah, pretty much we pretty much done for real. Showed y'all everything for real for the night. That's why I was getting to that question, right? So what do you think about in regards to this Cabbage Patch Kid? These foreign babies being bred. What do you think about them being used in law enforcement and in the military? What do you think about?
Because they're probably more disassociated, right? I was saying this. I did a build last year on these incubator babies, bro, and with it came up the fact of like them being built right with radium, which we know radium is false light, so it's not true light, which is plasma, which is the true life that we have. Now, you know how they start saying, "Oh, these women having problems having babies," and they start coming up with these hospitals so women can go and get the shot so that they can get pregnant. What you call those hospitals, bro?
Fertility clinics.
Fertility clinics. Thank you. They came up with the fertility clinics, right? So these women can get help having babies. That's all kind of recent, right? Now, it's funny that these clinics came up after y'all done had all and created all these incubator babies. Y'all created all these incubator babies that came here, not created from a womb, not being able to bear life because they don't have real life. You can't bring life from something that's lifeless. And that false light, which is a GMO light, which is which is not the true Christos. So you cannot be you can't bear. This is why all those women start having these issues. Well, why can't I have a baby? They don't even know. They was an incubator damn baby, or their mama was an incubator baby, and they came from an incubator baby. This is why these women start having these issues, and they start making the fertility clinic because they weren't able to make bear the babies. That's another important point about that too. And with the military, like you said, because they desensitize, right? I would think they would be more desensitized. They're not attached to real emotions and things because they're not a true soul, literally.
Okay, so I have another question for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know within that video you just showed, they were showing pale skins, things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they would have also been breeding blackamoors?
I don't think so here. Remember, all that they were showing what was done here. They were breeding the babies so they can get them up, getting the servants, getting the slaves, trying to breed these children and stuff, trying to build up the, their nations or whatever. So in other areas, I believe they would do that. Definitely in Hindustan, they were doing it. They had been doing it for hundreds of years ago. That's really the melting pot for a lot of, like, that's why they have all the deformities mostly. If you notice that Hindustan, man, they get all types of deformities. 6 legs, 4 arms. I mean, like, literally, they really are the Frankensteins to the hilt.
That's the truth. So the reason why I asked that question, right? So we know that the camera was invented in the 1800s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about to show some pictures on the screen. Let me pull up the screen share again real quick. Here we go. 1 second here.
Yeah, that cabbage patch.
I'm not trying to offend anyone either, right? But this is we're dealing with history.
Yeah, it's facts.
So
right.
It says type de negres Adana or something, right? So I take these for being Moors. right? And
yes,
she's what's known as a wet nurse. Okay, let me close that one out. Let me close that out. So let me go back over here. So I have a series. If you look up the term wet nurse, right, and we consider these slaves, right? Because it did mention in that video you just showed, right, how these children were slaves, right? And they were being bred. I'm just real curious because it doesn't, logically, it doesn't make sense for them to only breed pale skins that they was going to do whatever with and not do the same to these black skins.
correct.
Like, to me, it's illogical that they would exclude. I mean, especially if they was doing it in Hindustan, and it's within their definition of Moors.
Right.
I've shown that Moors are synonymous with Hindus as well.
And brother, I believe they did it in Africa because this is why they have all those albinos. Nothing against albinos. Not trying to be rude or anything, but I'm being very real. This is why they have the albinos there. You rarely see an albino, American albino. Very rare. More than likely, they came from an island or something because they probably was traded from Africa to that island. But you're not gonna see no American albino. So I believe I did a build on this too, not too long ago. It was crazy talking about these albinos. I was supposed to do a part 2 to it, and I never did. But the albinos, they come from there, so you can understand that they would have been doing it there too in the cloning. That's why I was saying earlier about how everybody keeps talking about this clone. Oh, the cloning. This shit been going on for years. Y'all act like this something damn new. Cloning, test tube babies, incubator babies. Like what? This stuff been going on for centuries.
Yeah, and this picture on the screen right now, this is dated 1897. All right.
Yep.
And so I just want us to consider what we've observed within our lifetimes, right? Whereas we have these heartless Negroes.
Yep.
We saw that situation. What's his name? Tyree Nichols was his name. Over there, what was that in North Carolina? Was it where you had like a group of these Alpha Psi Boule members of law enforcement, if you will, Negroes, right? And they literally beat that man to death.
Yeah, I remember that not too long ago.
I mean, would they fit the criteria of an incubator baby?
Exactly. And then you know what's crazy, brother? They'll sit here and be arguing about what like these people, like who's who, like who if we like, oh, I'm in it. Yep, no, nigga, you ain't no in it. You from Africa, your ancestors, they argue with you, this, and that. And I'm thinking to them like, why are you arguing with these people? Because more than likely they probably are. These people that don't have common sense, that cannot read documents and books and shit that people put in front of them and understand truth, and they still be indoctrinated. You are either an agent or you're just that freaking person. You are literally that person, and you don't have the frequency. They're not elevated enough to a higher frequency to understand this information because it's not on their level. They're on a lower level of thinking because they were built that way, literally to be like that, to be enslaved, not be able to think. So this is why it cannot get built into their head. That's why I don't like arguing with them damn people about none of that shit. Because yes, I know you're a slave. You are a slave or agent.
Sister Soul.
Yes.
Do you remember? I'm gonna say two things real quick, right? Do you remember back in the day how I used to call people test tube babies?
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna say test tube baby combined with artificial intelligence.
The super gene that they tried to create.
Yeah. Remember there was military experiments programs that Nazis was working on it during the 1920s, etc. The Jews and Jewish mysticism, they have something called a golem, right? Where this is an entity made of clay where they cast a spell and then now they control this entity and they use it as a defender. They use it as a guard, as a guardian. That's ancient Jewish mysticism. The golem, when you look at the story or the history of the golem, that's spelled Golem for those interested in knowing, right? So we think, how long has this been going on where we have these foreigners that have been working to create an artificial species?
Right, trying to create some alien what you call it, militant force, basically.
Yes, to serve as a guardian. Because
Yep.
when we see, I mean, like we look at the mayor of Chicago, former mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, right? Yo,
Is that a human?
yeah. See, don't ask me. I don't like. Is she
That's
one of those
real
test
talk.
tube
I ain't
babies?
being funny. I'm so dead ass serious, bro.
Hold on.
When I first seen that, I'm gonna say that I was looking like, come on now, stop playing with me. They'll put shit in our face and be like, will they accept this? If we accept any damn thing, then they know they know you're further indoctrinated. If they can just pull anything over on you. When people sit there and don't question it or think that it's okay and that it's like, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't think that was nothing, or like soon as the first time I seen, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looked like an alien, like real talk.
And you know what's crazy? See, my thoughts is traveling now with this because I've heard of these what you call them incubator babies, right? I recall my youth how in grade school people would be called test tube babies and things of that nature, right? And then now I'm thinking fast forward here, right? About the abuses that we see throughout our territories, right? Towards our people. Fast forward, I asked the question when I was sharing this rat poison information, right? How can there be a little boy or girl of whatever species, right? Of humans, right?
Right.
Decide that they want to become an abortionist. What type of intelligence is that? So whereas you have it in your mind that you want to pursue a career in killing babies for profit, by the way.
Right.
I mean, that shit is so. I mean, and I really want people to consider what I'm saying here, right? Whereas, if you take a moment to look in your genealogy, right, you'll see that our American mothers and daughters was having upwards of 20 daughters and sons.
Period.
Plenty of land, fresh food, fresh air, fresh water, clean clothes, healthy, right? Then comes in the 1920s, American Eugenics Society, Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Within 100 years, right? Especially following Roe versus Wade, is documented over what they say 50 million quote unquote black babies being aborted a year.
Yeah.
We do that math, right? So hold on, let me do that. I'm gonna just do that math real quick. Because how crazy is this, right? So we're talking about, what was that? 1973 was Roe versus Wade, right? 1973 to 2023. That's 50 years, right? So,
Right.
So 50 times 50 million, right? That number is 2.5 billion, quote unquote, black babies have been aborted due to Planned Parenthood, generally speaking, eugenicists. I mean, once again, are these test tube babies that are within these professions to kill babies? And we have someone like Margaret Sanger, right? She's an Irish poor immigrant. Her people were equivalent to slaves in the late 1800s when she was born, right? Could she have been a goddamn incubator baby herself? Could her parents been incubator babies that was bred?
Yes, with no soul, literally no freaking soul. Did you hear her speak before talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, it's no soul, just like soul, like and nonchalant, like this ain't shit, like what?
And then for there to be a Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, or W.B. I can't remember if he was a doctor or not. It's relevant, but a W.B. Du Bois and the rest of those Negro Project characters, preacher, pastor, reverends that were hired and trained to work for Planned Parenthood, to make sure that the quote-unquote American Negro will not suspect that Planned Parenthood was invested in the extermination of the Negro race. And mind you, this is 1924 when the eugenicists were now rewriting these birth records. You can no longer call yourself an Indian. No, you are a Negro. Now fast forward, we don't want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is our man to do it. We got to train him to be enthusiastic, an enthusiastic speaker. Can I get an amen type snickers? Right?
We don't get these Africans, right? Most of these preachers are these Africans too. That they done came in, their ancestors done came in. They got the what is it, the AME church? They set up all these AME churches. The AME churches be in all the neighborhoods, and they just it's just sick. It's just really sick.
Tied directly to the Prince Hall African Lodge.
Period.
I mean, people, once again, y'all, this is about the active American ethnocide, which ties into the genocide and ecocide. Our land is being destroyed while our people are being destroyed.
Period.
And I'm sharing all of this for awareness, to contribute to preparedness. Because motherfuckers want to be fake debating. Are we Indians? Are we Aboriginals? Yo, what's your genealogy say? What did your people tell you? Yeah, Country Boy Archaeology, how you doing? Appreciate your presence. I mean, seriously. We are dealing with active ethnocide of our American people, the only American people, right? We're dealing with active genocide against our American people, the only true American people. And we're dealing with active ecocide, which is against all of our American people, right? Because they're destroying our land in front of our faces. And they've been doing it since they got here.
Like it's nothing. Because y'all gonna turn a blind eye because y'all believe everything they tell you.
That's right. Yeah, Country Boy. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing good. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, yo, this is not being discussed like, you know, in that video I showed, right, where they're talking about with the Florida black curriculum, right? They're saying that, yeah, you know, we should present, you know, the information to the students and let them decide for themselves. That's education. Not when an education or what the students are being presented with is erroneous and flawed and highly revised.
That part.
Completely like pure truth is being omitted within each generation from students.
And changing each and every time to make it worse. Where the stories get more and more confusing. Every time you turn around, it get more confusing.
With the help of CIA funding.
They don't know what the truth is.
You know, I got another CIA document, right, where it's talking about what you call it? It's talking about their quantum like mind control investments and experiments. Like they invested in quantum, you know, perception manipulation. All right, and so we consider what you see on the screen right now, right? The CIA document here, where we think about quantum, right? We think about the mechanics of the mind, right?
Right.
Faster than the speed of light, I would say, is the speed of thought. I would say, right? You have so many neurons, electrons, etc., firing off mentally quicker than a nanosecond. You know what I'm saying? And so we have $10 billion in 1981 going towards all HEIs, higher education institutions. By the way, once again, this is all CIA funding here. And then for the HBCUs, a little more than $500 million. We're talking about how many minds are being manipulated? I mean, this is This is some diabolical shit that's being withheld from the population, huh? And then for our people's perception to be altered via fast forward now social media. I mean, they got World Star, where you see consistent abuse on there. The abuse, in my opinion, is a result of the chemical exposure via the medications and cosmetic products, plus whatever asbestos and lead poisoning, etc. that's present. I mean, we're dealing with some incredible shit. And, when we have people saying, what's the solution? Yo, where do you want to begin? Like, what problem are you aware of that you are ready to analyze? Because a problem requires analysis. You got the Hegelian dialectic, right? So are you familiar with the Hegelian dialectic?
Yes.
Very good.
I'm not very familiar, but I've heard of it. Let me say
so,
that. I'm not very familiar.
So for the Hegelian dialectic, all right, you have thesis, antithesis, synthesis. In summary, you have problem, reaction, solution. All right. So first you have this problem here. Do you know what the problem is? Because once again, we got a variety of problems. Like, it's a whole cocktail. You read King Ferdinand's letter to the Taino Arawak Indians. That's a list of problems right there. That shit's upwards of 500 years old right now. Pardon me. Hold on. 1493, 500. No. We're hold on. Hold on. Let me do that math real quick. How many years is that, real quick? Pardon me. I'm a little tired. Y'all had a long ass day. I ain't even take no nap.
From when to when?
1493 to 2023. That's 530 years right there. 500. So I was there. That's 530 years. Okay. That's a list of problems described in its 1493 document. Describing, attacking, and enslaving Indians, selling them and disposing of them, with the help of their God. With the help of their God, they said they will dispose of us. They shall attack us from all. Problem, reaction, solution. Okay, so that problem was written in a letter back in 1493, 530 years ago. We have a whole population of people that's not even aware of that letter. So they can't even prepare a reaction to what was described there, and then the implementation, the execution of what's described within this letter. So in regards to getting to a solution, once again, how can you demand a solution when you're not even aware of the motherfucking problem? I'm talking about the fundamental problem. Colonization is a fundamental problem. We got people talking this globalization, we are the world shit.
Right.
Foreigners is still dumping. They are dumping their populations throughout this American continent. North America, we don't even know what migrants was incubator babies that have been invading within just the past fucking 2 years, or let's just say the entire duration of the Biden administration.
Period.
Motherfuckers are still invading right now as we're discussing what we're discussing right now, right?
Right.
There's a whole invasion going on. And motherfuckers want to debate about fucking rappers and damn, this rapper got killed this week. Damn, we got more rappers than goddamn scientists now. We got more rappers than farmers. We got more rappers than goddamn engineers and mechanics, and pretty much we got more rappers than everybody that we had back in the goddamn 1920s. The quality of people that we had 100 years ago, right? They're minimal in comparison to rappers today. More rappers than skilled people. That's a problem, ain't it? But who wants to call that a problem for what it is, though?
Right.
Yeah, my bad. Y'all want to be long-winded. I'm just
rappers and athletes.
And then on top of that, most of the athletes don't even make it to professional. They don't they don't get that contract. A lot of them get
Use
injured.
them up. For the colleges and all of that. Use them all up.
Same colleges that are funded by the CIA, right?
Mm-hmm. Use them up. Break them down.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, the purpose of these presentations, these discussions, etc., is for awareness to contribute to our preparedness. All right. We have to prepare to analyze these problems. We have to identify what the fundamental core problems are. Right. We have to determine how we want to react to these problems. Once again, these problems are multifaceted. I mean, there's so many dimensions of these problems. These dimensions have evolved. I mean, we have people's rights being violated every day just by credit reporting agencies alone. No one should have bad credit. Damn sure not our people in particular. None of us should have bad credit. Shit, we are the credit.
Period.
The fuck? Our land. This is our land. Our land is the credit. We come from this land, therefore, the fuck, like, yo, how the foreigner gonna come here and tell us we got bad credit? And you're gonna report, you're gonna furnish some data in violation of all of my rights that are within the federal codes and all of that. That's incredible. That's a problem.
And shit, yeah.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying here. We have to come together, the people, and not them divide us. I mean, so the situation is, right, in regards to people coming together, I mean, bottom line, as I showed earlier, right, let me show you, right? Let's go and pull up this document again. It says right here, exclusive access to the Indians in the interior, lamenting that the Sertao that they call Patos, that means the land, is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians, to later sell them where and to whom they please. So, in regards to uniting, coming together and not being divided, I mean, bottom line, our American Indian people have to come together and cannot allow ourselves to become divided, because these have all been foreign strategies of war. I showed y'all the former James Buchanan text from 1824 last week, where it blatantly says in there, the foreigners, they invested in fragmenting the American Indians. That's us. They invested. You see where we at right now? Like within 200 years, 1824. Next year is 2024. That's about to be 200 years since that book was published. When all of this described in that book, the annihilation, extermination, the extinction of our American people, was being described throughout that text. The methodology, criminology, etc. The various branches of society. All breeds of foreigners, and we see it right here. Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short. We damn sure can't unite with them, can we? I mean, how you going to unite with someone that has already decided that they're going to attack, conquer, and capture you, the Indian, and then later sell you where and to whom they please? I mean, come on. That's what's being withheld from us. They keep on pushing this delusional unity shit while they're actively destroying our nations, destroying the minds of our people, compromising the integrity of our people's spirits. Shit, we got people praising Jesus and praying God, praising goddamn Allah and Yahweh, or whoever the fuck else. They don't know nothing about Wonka Tonka. They don't know nothing about Manitou, etc. Numerous entities. We have our own creator. They have theirs. Hold on, what you say? But who is offering the bounty? That's the problem. Who's offering the bounty? I mean, come on. Hold on. What you mean the bounty? I mean, look at the situation. You got foreign law enforcement attacking, conquering, and capturing people throughout our American territories, right? They go to court, right? The court put a bounty on them, right? That's called the bond, right? And if they don't come back to court Then they sent out the bounty hunters, right? So your question is, who was offering a bounty? I mean, yo, which party? I mean, because you got the other side of it. You got the debt collectors. Debt collector, hold on, they're like have no debts. Bottom line, like we don't. We got credit. The foreigners got debt. They want to take our credit anyway. Those debt collectors, they created a bounty, didn't they? So I mean, who's offering a bounty? Which party do you want to discuss? Because as far as I'm concerned, all breeds of foreigners are the problem. I don't know not one American Indian that owns a goddamn credit reporting agency. Damn sure don't know no Indian that owns a goddamn police station, police department. I'm just saying, I don't. Maybe you do. I don't know. But the situation is, these are things that we need. The red and blue make purple. I mean, who's red and who's blue? I don't know, man. I mean, I see what you're getting at, but in my opinion, it's illogical. Like, in nature, right? You got ants, you got birds, you got snails, you got squirrels. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's natural, right? You got these natural species. Our American people are the natural species of this natural American continent, right? Yo, we are not to be intruded on, trespassed on by any breed of foreigner, and this is what's been happening. And all these foreigners have invested in our ethnocide. So in regards to the red and the blue make purple, well, I mean, shit. Yo, my American people, we wear whatever colors we want to wear, right? The foreigners, they wear whatever colors they wear. They even dressed up in poses as Indians and shit. Meanwhile, we got to lay down motherfucking law. As Americans got to lay down motherfucking law. The problem is we got too many of our American people who don't even know that they're American people. They're being taught by these CIA fucking funded goddamn fake ass educator scholar motherfuckers, right? They've been funded to tell our youth to say fuck America and teach our youth to praise Africa. I showed y'all that CIA AMSAC shit a couple years ago. CIA AMSAC, I showed y'all that shit. These motherfuckers have Africanized all of American culture. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying, y'all. Yeah, so how you doing? Because I'm about to get up out of here.
I'm doing good, brother. All right. I know it's the echo. I was muting because I can hear it now.
Oh, no, you was good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I keep hearing the echo.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just too much, and it continue to go on, and we just gotta make sure that everybody know what's going on and is aware of this, so we can put a stop to it, at least on our end, and it's not affecting us. It might not can stop it all at one time, but you can stop what affect you.
That's a great point. So this is what I'm looking at, right? So if we're looking at 530 years since King Ferdinand's letter to the Taino Arawak Indians, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many years is it going to take for us to undo what has been done against us when there are trillions of dollars in investments, foreign investments into destroying us, our land, etc.? I mean, how many will it take us 1,060 years if we get started today? Will it take us 2,090 years? Double that. I mean, we gotta, we definitely gotta get on the same page as Indians, man. And we have to restore, in my opinion, the ways of our ancestors. Those of us that have the traditions and the customs and all of that, because there's plenty of us out here and all of that. But those of us that not have been effectively colonized, because we have a population of our people that have been effectively colonized, right? Mm-hmm. We need those that have not been effectively colonized to assist with the transition of those that have been colonized out of pretty much becoming decolonized.
Right.
In order for us to secure the next 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, so that our time immemorial legacy of the past is continuing into the future.
Right. That's true.
I mean, and the opposition that we deal with is incredible. I mean, as you know, you know, I mean, we dealing with incubator babies and test tube babies, and they got advanced technology right now. They got the Henrietta Lacks cells, and they
Right.
have like in my opinion, every one of our natural American mothers and daughters, they have immortal cells, and this is why Planned Parenthood
Right.
and Genesis, they want our American mothers and daughters' genetic material. This is why it's so valuable being collected and sold every year. The fetal tissue, etc., the menstrual blood, etc., collected and sold.
This is why they have they are having advantages over us. I got to say, because they're using these fetuses, that blood, doing sacrifices and rituals over these babies. Literally, they've been doing this for hundreds and up to years. Now it's like, oh, they just sacrifice the baby just after they done take it right out you. And yeah, it's crazy.
Immediately. Yeah, man. I mean, I definitely appreciate your presence. Everyone that tuned in this evening, appreciate all of you. If you're interested in this Tomahawk curriculum, you know what I mean, feel free to send an email, contact you through stopthegenocide.us. Definitely appreciate everyone. Yeah. Y'all stay healthy, y'all stay strong. Cowboy season is over. Scout season is on.
Period. Peace and love, brother.
Appreciate you, man. You have a great evening. I'm gonna get with you soon, all right?
All right, peace.
All right.
Abanki Palami, Igbi, Atak, Intikba, Atak Shanspo, Maliki Okla, Okcha, Abahanta, Chatayakni, Anli, Yukpali, Ishkifa Nishkin, Oglush Enla, Abenili, Chata Atak, Ishkafushi. Almighty Creator, ancestors, our American people, awake. This is divine, sacred Chata land. Be faithful, be exalted. Foreign nations, colonists. You are in the eye of the Tomahawk.
Tomahawk! Tomahawk! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way!
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right?
Tomahawk! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way! How we gonna do it? The hard way!
Yo, at country, trust me, I'm aware. You know what I mean? What will be good to see is those of European descent to be honest. You know what I mean? To invest in truth and honesty in regards to my American people. You know what I mean? That's what I see have been missing. We got these Elizabeth Warren characters. I'll give you an example, right? So one of my bloodlines is Cherwin Hakanadawa, right? I was contacted by this random female on Facebook some years ago. She saw my name, Cherwin Hakanadawa, on Facebook, right? And so she has the audacity to contact me. I'm like, yo, who the fuck are you? Because you damn sure not my people. Said, oh, my name is such and such, blah, 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 blah. I said, yo, where you from? Yo, she claiming to be Cherwin Hakanadawa, and she tells me that her people's is Turkish. See how offended I am? Furthermore, in addition to that offense, she also reveals to me, based on her profile, that she works for the goddamn Bureau of Indian Affairs. For the fact that the BIA is called when you break down the acronym BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, we got all these goddamn fake ass native motherfuckers running around. And mind you, native in its legal definition, that means a foreigner born in a country not of their origin. Simply. And these people, these descendants of foreign exiles, they come here currently, actively assuming the genealogy of my American peoples throughout this American continent, from South America, Central America, the Caribbean, right here in North America. We got pale skins, we got black skins, we got Asians that was brought here centuries ago on a Manila Galleon situation, right? You know, them Chinas, descendants of them Asian slaves brought directly over here from the Oriental regions and all of that shit. And so, I mean, what would be good to see? I don't know when I could expect to see it. Only I could expect to see is what me and my people produce, right? What we invest in. Same way we could expect to see foreigners invest in what they have always been invested in. I mean, eugenics. Foreigners invested in that. That's still active today. They got a whole 100-year run with this shit. 100 plus for real, right? Plus all the colonial laws and colonial organizations, American Colonization Society, that shit just ended in the 50s or 60s, if I recall correctly. They had a whole 100-year run, right? They got tremendous business credit. They was working directly with the churches that got tremendous business credit, right? They would have funded all types of operations, invest in all types of propaganda. They got people of multi-ethnicities and shit, you know, diversity, equity, and whatever else they want to call it, right? Inclusion, yeah. Diversity, equity, inclusion. But meanwhile, I have yet to see any of these foreigners invest in the truth of my people and our land. I have yet to see this shit. And I see you make the comment there. They make the purple of the Masons. I get that. And, you know, in their constitution, they speak about how they're for the upliftment of mankind and what have you, where we're not mankind, are we? Like, it's documented. Like, you have country boy archaeology. So related to archaeology is anthropology. So in regards to this American continent's anthropology, right? We're not mankind. In regards to anthropology, we are Americans. Same way the Orientals or Asians are what they are, various breeds and species of them. Same thing with the Persians and Africans and all the species of them, as well as with the Europeans and all the species and breeds of them, so on and so forth, right? We are Americans over here. And the authors, the classic authors, whose books are held within these HEI-funded universities, their old works from the 16, 17, going to the 18 and early 1900s, their work is being omitted from within the public school system, which creates, or pardon me, which contributes, which they create, rather, while contributing to the perpetuation of this American ethnocide, which contributes further to the American genocide that no one wants to talk about. So, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, you know, there are quote unquote white people who share your same opinion, my opinion. I'm a good example of that. Much love. Okay, cool. I'm just saying, I would like to see these, you know, this good example of your people, you know, invest in truth. You know, I like the work of Project Veritas until they ousted the founder, James O'Keefe. It would be great to see James O'Keefe do a whole expose, an exposure of this American ethnocide. That would be incredible. I would be like, God damn, that would be a reason for me to donate to that organization. what I'm saying? Even Project Veritas, even though, appears they become corrupt. I don't fucking know. I don't know what's going on. It might be staged. Might be a whole false flag right there. I don't know. But to see that level of initiative through investment of people, investment of resources, etc., investment of communications and good energy, righteous energy, that would be something to see within my lifetime. I'm sure a lot of my people would like to see that too. All I'm saying is it's not enough. It appears that we got more incubator babies and test tube babies than fucking ever imaginable. Like, we don't even know what these eugenicists really been invested in. I mean, shit, they just hit us with goddamn artificial intelligence that they've already had. They've already had this artificial intelligence system, and now they've upgraded this shit while they gave the population internationally, right, degraded version of the shit to play with. Anyway, Country Boy Archaeology. Yeah, appreciate your presence. To all of our American people, you already know, appreciate y'all presence. I'm out of here. See you on the next one. Y'all be good. Stay healthy. Stay strong.